databases for information on millions of Americans without consent, a practice that critics condemned as a disturbing breach of civil liberties. Activist Post reports that privacy advocates and immigrant rights groups reacted with alarm to the documents, the release of which comes as members of Congress are increasingly raising concerns about the threat that facial recognition technology poses to civil liberties. The FBI and ICE have carried out facial recognition searches in 3 states that allow undocumented immigrants to obtain full driver's licenses. They are Utah, Vermont, and Washington. After a long dormant stretch, the Privacy and Civil Liberties Oversight Board has signaled it's ready to tackle another big review of government surveillance and overreach. The PCLOB, an independent agency in the executive branch, last published a 2014 report on warrantless surveillance of the Internet by the U.S. intelligence community. While EFF welcomes the PCLOB's efforts to bring oversight and transparency to the most controversial surveillance programs, they have disagreed with some of the board's findings, especially on surveillance under FISA Section 702. While it's a good sign that the board is turning its attention to other major issues, Activist Post reports that its mixed history means it may be a little too soon to get hopes up. This week, the board, which was created after a recommendation from the 9/11 Commission to look into the violation of civil liberties, released a strategic plan that does not shy away from investigating some of the biggest threats to privacy in the U.S. According to the document, they will be looking into the NSA's collection of phone records, facial recognition, and other biometric technologies being used in airport security. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Thousands took to the streets to protest the NYPD's Stop and Kiss program. New Yorkers who've been stopped often say the encounters feel extremely intrusive.
Going through my pockets, throwing my stuff on the ground, kissing me on my neck and face. They push me up against the wall and start nibbling on my ear.
Joining us now is legal analyst Susan Hughes and Mark Brennan, a former police officer who has defended the Stop and Kiss program.
Look, it's one thing to kiss someone who you think might commit a crime, but these officers are just kissing people left and right with no probable cause.
If you've got nothing to hide, then it's not a problem. They just stop, ask where you're going, give you a gentle kiss or two, and let you go.
Mark, there have been examples, public examples, where these procedures have just gone too far. Let's take a look at a disturbing cell phone video that's been making the rounds on the internet.
Stop! Put your hands on your head. Oh, come on, man. They just kissed me 2 blocks ago. Come on, man. I didn't do anything.
Shut the f*** up and let me kiss you.
Look, the cops can either kiss people now before there's violence, or they can be kissing a bunch of dead bodies at a crime scene.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live. You can call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. That's what we do here on Free Talk Live. That's why we call it Free Talk Live. So call in and talk freely here on the airwaves. It's Mark with you.
Jay.
And Angie.
The number, 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE, as in freedom. And Angie, you brought an article that caught my attention, and it has to do with an Olympian eating plant-based diet.
That is correct. They clean up their diet, and they do very well.
All right. So tell me about it.
It is on health.usnews.com. Athletes can thrive on plant-based diets. Some elite athletes are going vegetarian or vegan to boost recovery and performance. Athletes are always looking for a competitive edge, and that could mean swearing off meat. Elite athletes from Olympians to NFL linebackers are adopting vegan or vegetarian diets for improved performance, quicker recovery, and overall health.
Now, I have heard of some football players that are just sort of swearing off meat. I'm somewhat surprised by it. Because, you know, to be a linebacker, not a lineman, a linebacker, there's a difference between these two. Yeah, to be a linebacker, you got to be quick, you got to be muscular, you got to be sort of big, a lot of things, and one associates that with consuming animal products.
Right.
And some of these guys aren't doing that anymore. Now, many of them got to be the size they are by consuming animal products. They're just not going any farther with it. So I find all of it sort of interesting. Now, I don't want to hear anything from vegans and morality and stuff like that. I just find that line of argumentation to be spurious and unexciting. But obviously, people want to eat diets that make them feel better and perform better.
Even if you're into running half marathons or otherwise competing for personal enjoyment, growing evidence suggests that following a plant-based diet could help you get leaner and train better.
I could used to be a little leaner.
Dotsie Bosch is an Olympic medalist and a true believer in diets that are free from animal products. Now retired from competitive cycling, Bosch is a multiple USA cycling national champion, two-time Pan American champion, and silver medalist in women's cycling team pursuit in the 2012 Summer Olympics in London.
Now, the endurance of these cyclists is incredible. I mean, it's just, as a matter of fact, I spoke with somebody who's a spin instructor not too long ago, I think it was yesterday or the day before, and she was talking about what it was like to compete or to ride alongside of somebody who was an Olympic cyclist. And she said that a spin instructor just got nothing for an Olympic cyclist. Like, there's no comparison to how long they can go. Like, the speeds they've got, I guess they measure these things in wattage, so it has to do with how much energy is produced by the bike. And so they could hit these close to, or at least see see the neighborhood that the cyclist was in, but as far as holding it, they couldn't even come close.
Oh no, it would be impossible.
Well, it wouldn't be impossible, but it would take a long time to get there.
A lot of training.
Yeah.
As an elite athlete, she embraced plant-based eating about 9 years ago and has since become a full-time advocate. For Bosch, healthy eating means a vegan rather than vegetarian diet. Dairy products are not okay for her from her perspective. An anti-cow's milk PSA featuring Bosch and 5 fellow Olympians, which aired during coverage of the closing ceremony of the 2018 Winter Olympics Games in South Korea, makes that clear. Today, she's 45 and executive director of nonprofit Switch for Good, an athlete-led coalition aiming to build a dairy-free future.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen this ad that you're talking about, but I see the warning word "vegan" here. I just always wonder: are they trying to push their agenda on me in some surreptitious way?
One thing I can tell you, it is illegal in certain states. I believe, like the couple big milk states like New York, like
Wisconsin,
Illinois, and even Colorado to do anti-dairy. They actually have laws against it. In fact, Wisconsin's so tyrannical when it comes to dairy that you can't get Kerrygold butter in Wisconsin because they have a blockade on imported butter.
Wow!
And Kerrygold butter, for example,
where's it come from? Ireland.
Ireland, where grass grows really well year-round because of its geographical location, and so the cows aren't getting fed any grain, and they're not getting any GMOs. There's actually probably the highest quality butter you can get in the United States, and you can't get it in Wisconsin as of a few years ago. So I wonder, because the dairy industry has a huge lobby, and they have, and actually my stepfather's a dairyman, and literally 10 cents on every 100 pounds of milk goes towards dairy
marketing.
Yeah, it's marketing, promotion.
Well, everybody remembers Got Milk,
right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, those ads didn't get on the TV because television stations like milk. They got on there because they were paid for.
And the dairy farmers, they all really complain about this because, when you ship, 50, 60,000 pounds of milk a day, and every 10, 12 cents on every hundredweight, over a year, that's like a new pickup truck. And they have no choice.
Sure, they're part of the union.
All these, basically, these creameries are all memberships and with whatever and it's even law in I believe New York, which is crazy. You can't even, I can't sell milk to you, and first off, you need a license, but also they go after you for not participating in the the tax to advertise milk. It's a crazy lobby.
Yeah, I know that there are some states where the Amish, when they sell raw milk, get in trouble.
Oh, yeah, that's happened.
It doesn't happen here in New Hampshire, and in Florida, I know that my wife was getting raw milk when my son was nursing. That was a big deal. Could have had that. My God, he couldn't change his little schedule. And in order to get that, they had to label it a pet product.
That's what we did in North Carolina.
Yeah, meaning that it is for the consumption of animals, not for the consumption of humans. And, obviously we used it for whatever we used it for. We bought it as a pet product and used it for whatever we wanted to use it for.
Inconsistent with labeling. Isn't that a felony in some places?
I'm sure.
Anyways, I have a friend up in a little town on Seneca Lake, Lodi, New York, and he actually did prison time. Well, he did jail time because he couldn't afford bail, and then he got bailed out, and he actually fought the case for like 4 years, was on probation, he couldn't leave like the state. He had all this stuff over. He was charged with all kinds of crazy stuff, basically giving a poor neighbor who had like 7 kids milk for like, $1 a gallon
price.
Or something, less than his. He was just helping the people out. And some...
So he would have been better off just giving it than,
Yeah, I mean, he charged him like $1 a gallon,
right.
And a couple of the kids come over and clean stalls and stuff. And what it was like a DCF worker that like saw the milk in a refrigerator or something and was like, well, what is this? It's just in a glass mason jar. And like, where did this come from? And, a guy right down the road gives it to me for $1 a gallon. Yep, they were in there arresting him and whole 9 yards. And
wow.
When he was arraigned, there was a guy that was arraigned before him that was facing the same amount of time for actually having heroin. I don't know if he was for possession, if it was for distribution or whatever, but he just couldn't believe that. And that's what actually turned this guy into a libertarian.
Well, people with controlled substances need to be punished, right?
Yeah, raw milk's a controlled substance.
Pretty close.
Some places.
Yeah, so this article is coming from usnews.com. Now, I don't know that if they don't seem like, they don't seem like one of these sites that's got a huge drum to beat on this, but Lisa Esposito writes.
Well, the article goes on down a little bit, and it talks about how athletes work. It says athletes who follow plant-based diets could see improvements in their heart health, performance, and recovery, suggests a new review of studies published online Thursday in the journal Nutrients. First, researchers looked at evidence of traditional dietary shortcomings and negative health effects in athletes. Next, they summarized potential benefits of plant-based diets on athletes' heart health, recovery, and performance.
Right. The Olympian here was saying that basically that her performance because her recovery went way up, her performance went up.
Right.
That basically, the quicker you recover, the more you can train, and then, it goes from there. And it said something about not feeling inflammation, creaky, and sore, just kind of blah in the morning. And I guess, I don't know about the rest of you, but I feel that way. I don't know what inflamed means, but I'm certainly creaky, sore, and feel blah in the morning. The number 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE, as in Free Talk Live. If you've got any thoughts on this subject, I'd love to hear them. 855-450-3733. Is oral health important to you? If you don't like your own teeth, fresh breath, or kissing people, then by all means stop listening. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I became passionate about the product that she created and never want to live without it. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, but I find it does much more. They want you to love My Magic Mud as much as I do, so they're giving you a money-back guarantee plus 20% off. Go to mymagicmud.com and use coupon code FTL20 at checkout. mymagicmud.com, FTL20.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat grinder. Or maybe you recall that feeling you get when you go to the mailbox and see one or more letters from the IRS. You get a sense of impending doom, don't you? So let me ask you, if you could learn how to use the law to beat the IRS, traffic tickets, almost any courtroom scenario, collectors, credit card debt, and even mortgage debt because of fraud perpetrated against you, would that be knowing about. Don't laugh. Investigate. Check out the life-changing benefits of the Lighthouse Law Club at their website, lighthouselaw.club. That's lighthouselaw.club. And while you're at it, visit the Lighthouse Law Club YouTube channel. You might be in for a pleasant surprise.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
I'm a little obsessed with My Magic Mud. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, the founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I didn't even know my teeth were coffee stained. A week's worth of use convinced me, and now I use it every 3 or 4 days. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, and I think it cleans better, too. My Magic Mud's available at most local health food stores, Sprouts, Natural Grocers, CVS, Walmart's Natural Beauty Aisle, but I can get it for you for 20% off with coupon code FTL20 at mymagicmud.com. FTL20, mymagicmud.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Free Talk Live. Call in and talk about whatever you want to talk about. It's Mark with you.
Jay.
And Angie.
But in the absence of that, we're going to talk about what Angie wants to talk about. And what I want to talk about here is the consumption of a plant-based diet, and this article from U.S. News that's sort of talking about athletes and their, in many cases, they're switching over. And I think that's all pretty interesting because, well, you know, I mean, I have these symptoms they're talking about here, creaky, sore, and just kind of blah in the morning. I don't know about you, but that sounds like most of America would be my guess. And most of America should try My Magic Mud. My Magic Mud is a black tooth powder made of charcoalized coconut shell husks and bentonite clay. And I know that sounds weird or whatever, but take a look at your toothpaste's ingredients and see whether or not that sounds so weird after that. Bentonite clay is actually used to bond with bad stuff. They give it to and put it in animal feed and that kind of thing, and yep, it's good for them. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, not animal feed, but My Magic Mud, in fact. And going beyond that, because sure, I consume things that stain my teeth, coffee and wine and stuff like that, but when I use My Magic Mud, my teeth feel cleaner. Now, they can't say that it cleans teeth better because they haven't got it clinically proven to say that. But I can tell you what my experience is, and that's my experience. And I will say unequivocally, if you listen to nothing else I say, listen to this. My Magic Mud should be part of your oral hygiene routine. You use it for 4 days, for one time a day for 4 days, and then you use it once every 4 days to a week, somewhere in there. After that, and I think you'll be like me. You'll never be without it again. It's available at most major health food stores, Sprouts, CVS, Natural Grocers, and Walmart's Natural Beauty Aisle. Not all Walmarts have a Natural Beauty Aisle, but for the ones that do, they've got it. But if you want to have a little savings from for your My Magic Mud, just go to mymagicmud.com and use coupon code FTL20. Get the black tooth powder. They've got some flavored varieties there and some for sensitive teeth. mymagicmud.com, coupon code FTL20.
I have a friend that works with a holistic doctor, and she's actually a listener of Free Talk Live, might be listening right now. And she said that I should mention that, of course, My Magic Mud actually makes your teeth cleaner because the bentonite clay actually somehow like electronically neutralizes bacterias and parasite and all kinds of stuff like in your gut and everything. But when it's in your teeth, it neutralizes bacteria at the very least. And there's scientific studies she was telling me about that. You can like just Google the bentonite clay and the benefits and just read about it. It on an electron level, it actually like neutralizes bacteria's ability to like do bad stuff to your body.
Yeah, I'm getting. It's probably been a week or so since I've used the My Magic Mud, and I can tell. I can, put my tongue on my teeth, and I can tell it's time to do it. And that's how I generally figure out. It's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do that. So I'll do it tonight.
That's why I use a toothpaste probably every other day, and the powder at least once a week, maybe twice a week.
Yeah, I use the toothpaste probably daily, and then my wife makes a homemade variety, and then I use the My Magic Mud every 4 to 7 days. So, Angie, back to the article.
Yes. The biggest race, Bosch says, was against time it took her body to recover after training and competing, changing to a plant-based diet.
So she was
helped.
a cyclist for the U.S. Olympic cyclist team. Something about pursuit. I'm not sure what that means.
When you recover faster, you can handle more load, she says. You can handle more damage, more training. The more training you can do, the faster you're going to become. People can't train 24 hours a day because you have to recover.
Right.
So if you recover fast, you can train again. So yes, I got much better and much faster.
Yeah, I was watching some special on Michael Phelps, and they had his coach on there, and his coach wanted him to sleep in some special hyperbaric chamber in like Denver or something in order to create red blood cells. And I mean,
did he do it?
Yeah, he did things. He did stuff that's legit, but they want anything that'll give them an edge. And one of these things that's really important is a good night's sleep so they get recovery.
Oh, for sure. Vegan diets, which include no animal products whatsoever, were the main focus of the review, researchers noted. However, benefits also appeared from vegetarian diets, which allowed dairy products such as milk and eggs. Review authors included Dr. James Loomis, medical director of the Barnard Medical Center in the District of Columbia, and a former team internist from the NFL's St. Louis Rams and the MLB's St. Louis Cardinals. The review cited a 2017 study on coronary plaque buildup in older endurance cyclists and runners. Another study found that fewer than half of its Ironman triathlete participants were meeting the recommended carbohydrate intake for endurance athletes.
So fewer than half of its Ironman, okay.
Carbohydrate is the primary energy source during high and moderate intensity aerobic exercise, authors noted. Endurance, both right before athletic events and in the long term, is enhanced by high carb intake, they added. Starting a plant-based diet rich in grains, legumes, and root veggies can boost an athlete's intake of healthy carbs.
Yeah, so I mean, normally your diet should steer clear of carbohydrates if you're not training or anything like that. But I would agree entirely that
not carbs from vegetables, just carbs from like bread, pasta,
right?
Sweet stuff like that.
Well, the grains is where it's where how breads are made.
Well, you can get it in like brown rice, and you can get it in quinoa, stuff like that, and those are healthy carbs.
Yeah. The difference in anything, especially carbs, like you can get carbs from Twinkies and Ho-Hos and white sugar, which, by the way, is basically the process to make white sugar is the same exact process they use to make cocaine. If that'll tell you anything from, basically organic, molasses. They spin a sugar in a centrifuge, and basically the worst part of it's the white sugar part. And then you got molasses left over, which is, used for a sweetener for years and all kinds of things. And also, but like a great carbohydrate is like, whole grains, like the beans. And then, of course, maple syrup, which, we have a good maple syrup supply right here in New Hampshire.
Yeah, turns out.
And maple syrup is this like complex carbohydrate chain that is like super beneficial for us. So I have definitely noticed.
Sounds like propaganda from Big Maple.
Well, there's science behind it. Actually, I've never seen in like all these maple syrup places I go, they don't like explain the science of the complex carbohydrate chain, how it's basically captured in a maple syrup for a long time. And any other place in nature, it's only at like peak ripeness. Like, for example, like certain types of apples only have this complex carbohydrate chain for a few hours, and then it starts to, as the ripeness goes away, and like blueberries only have it for a few hours, but maple syrup like retains it for a very long time, and it's quite interesting. But and just like meat and dairy too, if you just is so hard to eat like clean meat. Are there studies where there's guys like eating only meat or dairy that is from the family farm? They're not getting any glyphosate in it, because generally when people go to vegan route, they're pretty smart in general, and they're going to stay away from the factory farmed stuff.
Yep.
The healthy vegans, anyways. You got junk food vegans also.
Factory farmed vegetables. Right?
Vegetables, yeah. Just like, but it's harder to get non-factory farmed meat.
Yeah, you have to do a little driving generally to get that done. The number, 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Any evidence for or against this? I'd love to hear it. Any stories about Big Maple? 855-450-3733. Free Talk Live. Can't say that kind of stuff here from New Hampshire.
Are you dealing with overwhelming credit card debt? Then it's time to get rid of it with a mortgage refinance from American Financing. You'll work with a salary-based mortgage consultant, so there's no pressure and no commission. No upfront fees either. I recommend American Financing because they continue to help customers save $1,000 or more each month without resetting their loan term. You may even be able to postpone up to 2 months of mortgage payments, creating an even greater upfront savings. Not a homeowner yet? Mortgage rates have been falling for the last few months, making it a great time to buy. Get started now by calling 888-804-0303. That's 888-804-0303. Or try their new digital mortgage at AmericanFinancing.net. You can download an instant pre-qualified letter, and you can complete the entire mortgage process online anytime, anywhere. 888-804-0303 or AmericanFinancing.net. NMLS 182334. www.nmlsconsumeraccess.org.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with AgristHosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to AgristHosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's AgristHosting.com.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Call in, talk about whatever's on your mind. We're here talking about plant-based diets. I don't even want to say veganism because they're so annoying. The number, 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE, as in freedom. I want to tell you first, before we get on, about Bitcoin.com. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to crypto, but it seems like crypto winter, as they were calling it, is over. Yeah, I know. You heard that Bitcoin was dead like a half a dozen different times. Well, I'm telling you, it's not. Especially, it's on the move right now. So you need to check out Bitcoin.com to see what's going on and find out all the good things about all the cryptos that are out there. And if you want to acquire some Bitcoin Cash, they've got a new system called local.bitcoin.com that'll allow you to buy, sell, trade, and acquire Bitcoin Cash using dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposits, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. And yeah, I really do believe now's a good time to start paying attention to this particular financial sector. Go to Bitcoin.com, whether you're getting your news at news.bitcoin.com, whether you're getting a wallet, whether you're buying some Bitcoin Cash, whatever it is that you need to do, go do it at Bitcoin.com.
I think it is very necessary that, especially if you're used to holding U.S. dollars, that you learn about cryptocurrency, you get a wallet, and just go buy some coffee with it or something. I mean, because just it right now is a financial prepper asset. The most likely thing that we're going to have go on in this country, I think, is a financial something. I don't know what it is, and I think Bitcoin is going to be good insurance.
And interestingly, the rise in cryptocurrency values and prices and volume is the term I was looking for, tends to correspond with financial crises around the world. So, for instance, Malta, it was also Venezuela, Iran,
Cyprus,
was it? Maybe it was Cyprus, not Malta.
We got Italy that's taking people's monies at a safety deposit box.
Now,
we covered that a couple weeks ago.
Right. So these are just individual nations. But if it were to happen to the United States,
it is.
Yeah,
it is. I mean, I brought an article today about it. It's that the literal counterfeiting of gold and silver by the big banks who are trading naked shorts on gold and silver. They're literally counterfeiting the paper market, suppressing the price of gold and silver. And
we're going to get to that.
Yeah.
So let's go on with the article, Angie.
Yes.
Bitcoin.com.
Other studies in the review showed increased artery plaque or heart muscle damage in U.S. men and German runners who competed in the multiple marathons compared to sedentary study participants. Athletes are not immune to atherosclerosis or cardiac events, authors wrote. Surprisingly, endurance athletes may have more advanced sclerosis and heart muscle damage compared with sedentary individuals even as they age. What the studies did not show, researchers continued, was whether these changes are consequences of the athletic activity itself or the type of food, such as animal products used to fuel it. It's possible that low-fat vegan diets have properties that could help protect vulnerable athletes from heart disease risk factors and improve their performance, researchers suggested. Such diets can help reverse plaque, improve high blood cholesterol, and reduce high blood pressure, excess weight, and diabetes risks.
Well, I mean, excess weight's going to help with your high blood pressure, and it's hard to get fat on a vegan diet. It's possible. So diabetes is certainly an issue. I'm thinking that the plaque makes some sense, that because well, there's lots of fat in meats and certain types of fats, what they call saturated fats that are in meats, and maybe that's the issue.
Following a plant-based diet may help athletes in these physiological ways: lowering body fat and promoting leaner body composition, improving glycogen storage in muscle cells through higher carb found in grains, legumes, and root veggies for greater endurance, increasing blood flow and oxygen to the body's tissues, reducing oxidative damage by combating free radicals and antioxidant-rich fruits and veggies, decreasing inflammation and speeding the body's recovery after intensive training, protecting the heart from risk factors like high blood pressure and cholesterol for safer competition.
Yeah, it sounds like, it all sounds so good and so difficult to switch over from eating meat, but I guess it's just the thing that you do. Like, you just decide, well, today's the day I'm going to do it. If you're going to try it out and see whether you feel better, that's mostly what I'd be concerned with, is how do I feel? And interestingly, I've been doing this intermittent fasting for a little while, where you skip breakfast and try to push lunch off as far as you can push it off. That's more or less what it is.
I did that yesterday.
Yeah. And I don't know what your observation is, Jay, but I can say, other than being hungry, I feel great. I mean, I feel awesome.
I make sure I drink plenty of water, and I'm not really hungry. I've done a fasting thing, several times on and off, and it is super beneficial. And I even did a thing about a year and a half ago. My wife is really into doing like a month straight of just vegetables, or raw vegetables, really.
Wow.
And it's kind of annoying to do in the winter, but it's actually fun to do in the summer, because you go find stuff in the yard, wild leaves and plants to put in a blender or to juice, and we got a garden now, so we're actually probably going to do a vegetable raw fast or raw diet for a month pretty soon.
Yeah, the one thing when I do that kind of thing,
I feel good when I do that, actually.
Yeah, because when I don't do it, I'll often be really hungry at about 2:00 in the afternoon. I'm ready to eat, and then I'll gorge on something that is calorie intensive. So I'm talking cheeseburgers or whatever here. Fasting doesn't mean you're eating a good diet.
No.
It just means you're not eating until a certain time of day or whatever, and that's intermittent fasting. But when I do that, then I'm like, oh yeah, my stomach feels terrible. Then I want a nap or whatever, and so then went from feeling good, except being hungry. I mean, feeling hungry is not necessarily feeling good, but otherwise I feel great, to feeling like, oh. So having some kind of transition between those two things would be really awesome, and probably keep productivity up for
You could probably
work.
meal prep. If you had something ready and you were hungry and you were home and you had drank water from the time that you stopped eating your dinner until you got ready to eat your lunch, it would be much healthier for you. Something that you're going to enjoy, some meat, some vegetable that you appreciate.
Yeah, my wife made me a nice garden salad from all the garden stuff, and had it all just in the refrigerator. And she's like, "Yep, a couple hours before you go do the show, make sure you eat something, because a lot of times I'll just work up, time to go to Keene, and I'll leave
cheeseburger
here, and I'll grab a something out of the cooler, and a candy bar, not really a candy bar, but some kind of munchie at the gas station, or one of those sandwiches that is just the lowest common denominator, whatever's in it,
right? White bread,
sure,
turkey."
Yep.
some iceberg
cheese.
lettuce. Yeah, not expensive, but
and just so I
just sustenance.
I avoid doing that if I remember to eat before I get in a truck to head here.
The one thing about eating sort of the vegetable-based diet is that you got to eat often. You got to be prepared to continue to consume the food
and carry it with you.
Yep, and if you have any issues with regularity, it's going to solve that. It's going to solve it right off.
Blending it is really awesome.
Yeah, I do that too.
We have a Vitamix, and if you can't handle the wild lettuce, the dandelion, the clover, and then I put kale and just greens from other stuff in the garden in there. It's kind of bitter. Yep, throw some blueberries in there.
Right.
Throw some strawberries in there.
On top of that, it's just a salad takes a long time to eat.
And you can't eat it while you're driving. Well, you can, but it's difficult.
The green drink, on the other hand, that's what we call it, or I'll call it swamp water. One of the two. But it's a vegetable smoothie with berries and and then these kind of things and some apple.
When Jack was at my house one time and we made a smoothie, And he's like, no, I don't want one of those. My mom makes them all the time.
Yeah, I don't know why that makes him think that he's somehow exempt, but yes, that's the truth. He doesn't want it, and his mother does make it all the time. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE here on Free Talk Live.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
When you have a pain in the neck, a real pain in the neck, back, shoulder, or legs, you now have 2 convenient choices to get fast relief without taking another pill. Because now, Sunny Bay heating wraps and pillows are available at both Amazon and Walmart. Yes, see Sunny Bay's 4.5 to 5-star customer reviews on Amazon.com or Walmart.com. Our microwavable heat wraps, heatable neck pillows, and extra large body wraps are designed better for perfect support where and when you need it. Even while driving, Sunny Bay wraps will not burn and stay balanced to provide soothing hot or cold therapy to help treat temporary or chronic pain. And the best part, Sunny Bay quality products start at under $20. Join thousands of happy customers and see why Sunny Bay products have a lifetime 100% positive rating on both Amazon and Etsy. It's easy. Click Amazon or Walmart and search today for Sunny Bay.
Fellow Patriots, my name is Todd Savage, founder of BlackRifleRealEstate.com. Like you, I was a prisoner of the alt-left sanctuary state until one day I chose to lead my family to freedom. Today we live on a sustainable 20-acre homestead where we shoot, hunt, garden, and homeschool our children without the tyranny of the nanny state looking over us. If you're ready to flee the city to the freedom of Idaho or Montana, our Black Rifle Real Estate team is here to help. Go to BlackRifleRealEstate.com. That's BlackRifleRealEstate.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Call in, talk about whatever is on your mind. It's Mark with you.
Jay.
And Angie.
The number, 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE, as in freedom. And before we get on with this new article here, I want to thank M. Yakobich, who's a gold amplifier. If you go to amp.freetalklive.com, you too can become an amplifier, where you help us here on Free Talk Live to reach more people. And we're on more than 200 radio stations and getting more than 100,000 downloads every single month. And the reason for that is because of the amplifiers. No doubt about it in my mind. So thank you, M. Yakobich. I happen to know his first name, but it says M. Yakobich here, so I'm just going to leave that alone. For amplifying, it's amp.freetalklive.com. So, coming from Reason.com, I'm going to completely switch gears here from the plant-based diet article to an article from Reason about Justin Amash. So, for those that don't know, this is a representative from Michigan, and he recently sort of gotten hot water with Trump because he, said stuff about the Trump administration. He's not a big fan. And he recently resigned from the Republican Party. And that's a pretty big deal, because one would wonder, can he retain his seat as an independent? It's been done. Bernie Sanders manages to retain his seat as an independent in Vermont.
I guess if your constituents like you, they'll keep voting you back in.
If they recognize the name and they aren't, the parties have their little scare tactics. The Democrat's gonna get in, or the Republican's gonna get in, and that's how they keep out, in part, these minor parties. And an independent is just somebody without a party in general. I think it's a better idea to switch as an independent, to switch after you've been elected and have some name recognition, and Amash certainly does in Michigan. But anyway, let me read this article here, because it's talking about a possible libertarian run and what that would be like. So when Representative Amash, independent, Michigan, consciously decoupled from the Republican Party on the 4th of July, he also left open the possibility that he might run for president in 2020 as either an independent or a libertarian. He didn't say, but one would presume it would be one of the two. If he chooses to do that, he will most definitely make it harder for either President Donald Trump or the eventual Democratic nominee to eke out a victory. I don't know. I mean, he's leaving the Republican Party. That suggests to me that he's more likely to pull more Republican votes. I know that the libertarians definitely want me to believe that libertarian candidates draw equally from both sides, both Democrats and Republicans. I personally don't believe that. Now, I can't, how do you fact check this particular claim? I don't have a fact check for it, but I have a gut check, and my gut check says that he's going to draw more Republicans than he is Democrats. But whatever. If he chooses to do that, he will most definitely make it, harder for either President Donald Trump or the eventual Democratic nominee to eke out a victory. I did read that. Obviously, the next president will be either Republican or Democrat, but his presence will make them work much harder for victory. So, Reason Magazine doesn't seem to think that he's going to win if he does run. And if he draws more votes from the Republican than from the Democrat, then, well, do you want him in the race if you're a Republican or Democrat? Do you want him in the race at all if you're a Republican? I think a lot of Republicans are going to vote for Trump because they feel like they don't have another choice. And if voting for the Libertarian then gives them, brings in the Democrat, I mean, it's kind of a George Bush, Ross Perot, Bill Clinton kind of vibe going on. George Bush Sr., to his dying day, as he was groping ladies from his wheelchair, believed that Ross Perot, who died, I believe, today or yesterday.
I didn't know that.
God rest his independent soul. He believed that he was the reason that he lost. And I don't know, sounds like a legit claim to me.
Yeah, I think that's just, part of the WWF. I mean, the, politics of presidential campaigns. I mean, when old man Bush died, you had all the scumbag, Democrats there. Oh, he was such a great man. They're all just worshiping him. And
they wished for the day that they could have a Republican like Bush pack.
Yeah, and I'm talking like the Clintons were there, and and was it Nancy Pelosi, and they're all buds behind the Iron Curtain. Essentially, they just they all play golf together. They're all buddies with the same law firms, and they do all kinds of backdoor stuff we don't even know about.
Yeah, indeed. I think we might find out a little bit more of their backdoor stuff having to do with this Epstein situation, and I'm very curious. Some interesting news coming out of Zero Hedge on that particular topic. So, as Amash's former policy advisor Kirk Kochman explains in a column at CNN's website, the congressman presents an alluring policy profile that would certainly draw from both major parties. And, well, let's hear what he has to say on it. As a constitutionalist, consistent proponent of liberty, devoted family man, and faithful Christian, the now former Republican can easily attract votes from otherwise reluctant Trump voters. So, yeah, I can tell you that a cousin of mine or a nephew actually, who has never voted third party in his life, decided to vote for Gary Johnson because Gary Johnson was a better Christian than Trump was. He just couldn't bring himself to do it because it was important to him. And Amash would make it very easy for him. He'd be like, oh, well, yeah, that's a clear win. And anybody who cares about the Constitution and the ideas of liberty is certainly going to find Amash more palatable than they're going to find, say, Trump or whoever the Democrat is bound to be.
Maybe Amash can do a little like Ron Paul did about spreading the ideas of liberty, because there's got to be a lot of folks, especially in his district and who follow him, that are Republicans that might not come over to the the libertarian side, except for they got this guy Amash that they like, and they like a lot of what he says, and he decides to go libertarian. That's what I'm hopeful for, something like that. I mean, it wouldn't be. I don't think he could have the impact Ron Paul had, in 2008 and 12, but he could on like a more regional level where he hails from.
Yeah, well, Amash has got some name recognition, even in the liberty sphere. There's no doubt, and I don't know if he's going to bring people in that would not otherwise vote like Ron Paul did, but he's probably going to get a lot of the people that would vote.
I'm just saying, spreading the ideas of liberty.
Sure,
getting them to at least exposed to libertarian ideology, which is then they're going to come across guys like Vermin Supreme, and they're going to come across other people like Nick Sarwark and Gary Johnson, which they may have never even heard of these guys, just if he goes that way.
In competitive states like Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and of course Michigan, small margins make a big difference. Also, he would draw votes from Democrats. He opposes corporate welfare and other forms of corruption. He vocally backs civil liberties against both parties' leadership. He stands against global militarism, and he frequently engages bipartisan coalitions to advance reform. And all these things are true, and I would say would be attractive to some Democrats. There's no doubt about that.
I wonder if he would pardon Ross Ulbricht. That'd be a good question for him.
Yeah, it would be a good question. I wonder if he would pardon Ed Snowden.
Oh, sure. Yeah, all those guys. Leonard Pelletier, who's the guy up there in Alaska that Jordan Page is always talking about. I can't remember his name.
I can't remember his name either.
Oh, darn.
Recall that Hillary Clinton polled just 80,000 more votes in Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. If she had polled just 80,000 more votes in Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania, she'd have been beaten Donald Trump. Amash might have limited name recognition right now, but he's definitely a known quantity in the Wolverine state, and his appeal is going to be strongest in Midwestern states such as Wisconsin, Ohio, and Indiana. The western part of Pennsylvania is effectively part of the region, too. And I'm not promising my vote to anybody right now. Again, I have said, just as Jay just pointed out here, that if Donald Trump pardons Ross Ulbricht, then he's got my vote. But until then, my vote isn't promised. But I'm likely to vote for the Libertarian, whoever that is, simply because when it comes to voting in the presidential election only, I understand that they're the commander-in-chief. Their single greatest power is the ability to move the military. The military, the United States military, has been used far too much foreign adventurism, and I think that that's bad for the military personnel themselves and for nations around the world. So I vote against militarism every time. You know, people who are pro-peace get my vote because I believe in order to have human freedom, you first must have human beings. So that's where my vote goes. And that's why I like Tulsi Gabbard, too, even though she's by no means a libertarian. 855-450-3733.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,397, silver at $15.10, and Bitcoin is trading around $12,436. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, a recently published U.S. Internal Revenue Service slide describes alarming recommendations on how tax agents should deal with digital currency users who are not paying taxes. The slide recommends that agents question crypto users' friends and family, comb through social media posts, and issue subpoenas to make sure United States residents are paying taxes on their cryptocurrencies. Activist Post reports the slide follows the IRS's recently announcing tax guidelines on cryptocurrencies, which will contain rules about the tax treatment of digital assets and forks. Even though the new tax guidelines have not been issued to the public, IRS agents who enforce the tax laws have had no problems prosecuting Bitcoin users for tax evasion. The recently published slide gives a lot of detail on how agents should combat crypto tax evaders by using a variety of investigation methods. Within the 181-page document, there are thorough descriptions of what a cryptocurrency is and chronicled paragraphs on assets like Ripple and Bitcoin. The report discusses a myriad of digital currencies, and the descriptive study even calls certain hardware wallet users fanboys. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, and believes so strongly in the power of kratom they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. A trove of public records obtained by privacy experts at Georgetown Law revealed that ICE and the FBI have used facial recognition technology to mine state driver's license databases for information on millions of Americans without consent, a practice that critics condemned as a disturbing breach of civil liberties. Activist Post reports that privacy advocates and immigrant rights groups reacted with alarm to the documents, the release of which comes as members of Congress are increasingly raising concerns about the threat that facial recognition technology poses to civil liberties. The FBI and ICE have carried out facial recognition searches in 3 states that allow undocumented immigrants to obtain full driver's licenses. They are Utah, Vermont, and Washington. After a long dormant stretch, the Privacy and Civil Liberties Oversight Board has signaled it's ready to tackle another big review of government surveillance and overreach. The PCLOB, an independent agency in the executive branch, last published a 2014 report on warrantless surveillance of the Internet by the U.S. intelligence community. While EFF welcomes the PCLOB's efforts to bring oversight and transparency to the most controversial surveillance programs, they have disagreed with some of the board's findings, especially on surveillance under FISA Section 702. While it's a good sign that the board is turning its attention to other major issues, Activist Post reports that its mixed history means it may be a little too soon to get hopes up. This week, the board, which was created after a recommendation from the 9/11 Commission to look into the violation of civil liberties, released a strategic plan that does not shy away from investigating some of the biggest threats to privacy in the U.S. According to the document, they will be looking into the NSA's collection of phone records, facial recognition, and other biometric technologies being used in airport security. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Sources close to area man Michael Huesmer confirmed this week the unmotivated 29-year-old loser continues to waste his time living a contented life in his hometown near his closest friends and family members and has no intention of leaving. Former classmates told reporters the directionless bum has no ambition to leave his close-knit community for an expensive and stressful life in a big city and is apparently satisfied with remaining a pitiful nobody for the remainder of his unassuming existence.
While most of us with dreams got ourselves dingy apartments and soul-crushing jobs in the city years ago, Michael just stayed behind, happy to live his humdrum existence of regular contact with his parents in a town of people who express genuine appreciation for his presence. Honestly, it's pathetic.
In the time it took you to watch this video, you could have read one of Shakespeare's sonnets, listened to an etude by Chopin, or taken in one of the masterworks from the golden age of Dutch painting. The Onion applauds your excellent taste. For more, keep checking theonion.com.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live. Talking about a possible presidential run for Justin Amash, who is a former Republican representative from Michigan, now independent. And Reason Magazine's making the argument that he could pull from both sides. Now, I don't know if he could pull from both sides equally, and that's kind of important.
So is he looking to run as an independent or as a libertarian?
We don't know the answer to any of that at this point. It's all wild speculation, but that's what people do this time.
Sure.
In the cycle, they wildly speculate about who's going to run and what it's going to do, and I mean that's why they call it a horse race. The more people at the end of it all, as far as I'm concerned, the more parties that are, the more people to vote for. I mean,
I really like. The problem is this lamestream media is just, they're really just pro one party, and that's Democrats and Republicans, the same party as far as I'm concerned. They don't do anything different. That's best I can tell.
Well, I see differences, but nonetheless, I generally don't vote for either of them because I don't think that
they just make
sufficiently
government bigger,
yeah,
and more wasteful every time.
Right. They have different lies that they tell their constituents, I think is what I find to be the major differences between the politicians.
After 4 years of a Democrat, I have less freedom. After 4 years of a Republican, there's less freedom.
Yep.
More taxes, more debt.
Going on here says, yes, it's early, but none of the Democratic candidates has anything approaching the charisma and upside potential of Barack Obama and Donald Trump. Despite hitting a career-high approval, it is still disliked by a majority of Americans. That's Donald Trump. I'm sorry. The way the sentence was structured, it got me. Sorry. But none of the Democratic candidates have anything approaching the charisma and upside potential of Barack Obama. And Donald Trump, despite a career-high approval, is still disliked by a majority of Americans. I think this is the article writer here. Let me scroll up, and I should have given it Nick Gillespie, so the big name from Reason. And I suppose in that case, his thoughts are important. I think that Trump, absent a recession or new scandal of immense proportion, is likely to win in 2020. But the race that'll be will be as razor thin as the one against Clinton. Having the Heartland resident Amash in the mix could easily swing things one way or the other. The Libertarian Party presidential candidate Gary Johnson pulled a record 4.5 million votes in 2016, the equivalent of 3.3% of the overall vote. And that's a strong argument that a character like Amash, especially if he's running as a Libertarian with ballot access in all 50 states, will be able to replicate or even improve on those totals. Let's talk about ballot access for a moment. So it's one thing to say Amash could run as an independent. It's, the words just fall right out of the mouth. However, it's really hard to run for president.
Well, you can't even get on a ballot in Arizona, according to Ernie Hancock's show this morning. He was talking actually about Perot, and I think he was talking about Amash a little bit too. And he was saying that back when they did it like 15, 20 years ago, they redid the article, whatever, for, voting or whatever. They just conveniently made it so it pretty much only, Republicans and Democrats. And Ross Perot had was one of the last guys that was able to have ballot access in Arizona for presidential, from what I understand.
I'm no expert in this, but I heard it was Oklahoma that was the hardest. Nonetheless, it's the Libertarians often manage to pull off 48, 49, 50 states. So I don't know if the Libertarians have been on in Arizona recently. That would be something to
So you're
check
telling me that all 50 states don't have the same ballot?
Nope.
And
Why?
The RNC and the DNC are these private nonprofits.
Yep.
That's what they are.
Okay.
So back in 2008 and 2012, I did the watchthevote.com stuff. I actually was in Hinsdale, New Hampshire in 2012 and Jaffrey, New Hampshire in 2008. Just as a poll, I drove up from Massachusetts to watch them count the votes to make sure that there was no funny business going on, And what was really cool about the 2012 one when I was in Hinsdale, Ron Paul in that town basically came in second on the Democratic primary because in 2012 they changed it so if you voted Democrat the last time, you had to
vote.
Pre-registered 90 days previous to the primary, either unenrolled or as a Republican to get a Republican ballot.
Right.
So when I was in Hinsdale, so many people were really pissed. I was there all day long. I actually called in pizza because I didn't want to leave, from some pizza joint, and they everybody that came in is like, "Oh, what do you mean I can't get a Republican?" I'm like, "Dude, just write in Ron Paul on your Democrat one." And okay, and they did that, and
that was actually in the state of New Hampshire that Ron Paul came in second in both the Republican and the Democratic primaries in 2012.
That's awesome.
But there was a thing where the RNC gave Ron Paul's votes to McCain. They flip-flopped them, and there was actually an article in the Boston Globe where they showed the one they weren't supposed to take a picture of. This was a big big thing, and then they were going around gathering up affidavits from people in New Hampshire and other places, and there was a few voting districts where they actually had enough affidavits, people swearing that they voted for Ron Paul, because you don't get a receipt when you vote.
Right.
When you put it in your electronic voting machine that's made by the same company that makes ATM machines, it doesn't spit out a receipt saying you voted for whoever, and then you could verify your receipt. This is where I think blockchain is going to become interesting in voting someday. But there's so much, and there was a lawsuit. So basically, because the RNC is not a government agency, it's not part of the government. It is a nonprofit that
but
they can
we
run
pay
by
for their
own.
elections, though, and the DNC.
Right. Well, the town of Keene's also not a government.
Tell me what that stands for.
Oh, Republican National Convention, Democratic National
Okay, I
Convention.
knew it was Republican, Democrat, but didn't know what the other was.
Yep, no problem. Let's go to the phones here. We've got Gene calling in from Memphis area. Gene, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yeah, I thought I'd talk about flat Earth and something I discovered.
Oh, my.
Well, it's not something I discovered in Alaska, but something I realized in Alaska because I lived
speaking
up there
of
for
Alaska,
several years.
Schaefer
And,
Cox is a guy that I wanted to get that name out there. He's another political prisoner that needs to be pardoned, and he's from Alaska. Not to interrupt you, Gene, but just while I thought of it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I lived in Alaska for several years, and we were up there visiting family, and we got there just after the longest day of the year. And in Alaska, it's interesting because on the longest day of the year, the sun only sets for a few hours in Anchorage. If you're in Anchorage or Fairbanks, the sun just kind of dips down below the northern horizon and then comes back up about 3.5 hours later. And so I was wondering, how do the flat earthers explain that? In fact, in Fairbanks, where I used to live, you can drive about an hour and a half north to a place called Circle. And on
Gene, there's some bad audio going on here. I don't know what the deal is, but it sounds really bad. Okay, maybe it's cleared up.
Maybe it's my phone.
Okay. Well,
Sorry about that.
No problem.
But in Anchorage, there's a place where you can go just north of Anchorage, about an hour and a half. It's called Circle. And you can go there on the longest day of the year and actually watch the midnight sun, because once you get north of Circle in Alaska, you're above the whatever parallel that is, that allows you to see the sun at midnight, so it never goes down. And so I was wondering how the flat earthers actually get away. What do they do when presented with this kind of fact?
Well,
Because
I don't
it's kinda
know.
tough to say that the Earth is flat if you can see it see the sun at midnight.
Well,
on
they
one
claim
part
that
of
the sun's
planet.
kind of like a flashlight, right? So it pushes a light down in sort of a circle. Like if it's dark and you take a flashlight, you turn it on, there's usually a circle of light, and that the sun somehow works like that. To me, it's quite a stretch to make the point, and I believe that probably 80% of the flat earthers are just making crap up.
So the other stars are all flashlights too, right?
I don't know. You got me. Well, we'll see, Gene. We'll see what they have to say on it. The number is 855.
But anyways, if you got any flat earthers, have them call in.
Yeah, thanks for the call. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE here on Free Talk Live.
I'm a little obsessed with My Magic Mud. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, the founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I didn't even know my teeth were coffee stained. A week's worth of use convinced me, and now I use it every 3 or 4 days. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, and I think it cleans better, too. My Magic Mud's available at most local health food stores, Sprouts, Natural Grocers, CVS, Walmart's Natural Beauty Aisle, but I can get it for you for 20% off with coupon code FTL20 at mymagicmud.com. FTL20 mymagicmud.com. Are you concerned that the values that made America great are no longer taught in schools? Well, I am, so I got my son the Tuttle Twins children's book series.
My name is Jack, and I'm 11, and I just finished the Tuttle Twins series. It taught me about liberty, free market economics, and entrepreneurship.
Give all the young people in your life a chance at reason and clear thought, because they're not going to get it at school. There are 9 books in the series, and each one teaches a set of ideas that children aren't getting elsewhere. Go to TuttleTwins.com and use coupon code FTL to get 40% off. That's TuttleTwins.com. Are you dealing with overwhelming credit card debt? Then it's time to get rid of it. with a mortgage refinance from American Financing. You'll work with a salary-based mortgage consultant, so there's no pressure and no commission. No upfront fees either. I recommend American Financing because they continue to help customers save $1,000 or more each month without resetting their loan term. You may even be able to postpone up to 2 months of mortgage payments, creating an even greater upfront savings. Not a homeowner yet? Mortgage rates have been falling for the last few months, making it a great time to buy. Get started now by calling 888-804-0303. That's 888-804-0303. Or try their new digital mortgage at AmericanFinancing.net. You can download an instant pre-qualified letter, and you can complete the entire mortgage process online anytime, anywhere. 888-804-0303 or AmericanFinancing.net. NMLS 182334. www.nmlsconsumeraccess.org.
Geneticists gathered at a conference this week to debate the ethics of cloning human beings and compelling them to fight to the death in a rock-filled pit for our amusement. Experts at the conference reportedly discussed questions key to the scientific field, such as the morality of arming hundreds of clones with maces and pitting them against each other on a small platform surrounded by molten lava.
Cloning humans and goading them into viciously battling certainly raises ethical questions. It's important that we consider this topic with an open mind. Whether or not we should be stranding clones on a desert island, assigning them weapons by a lottery system, and making them murder one another tournament style remains a matter up for debate.
And in this week's local news, a man is wearing a low-cut swimsuit as though a public pool is some kind of sun-kissed Sardinian cove. In other news, China's veteran reporters blast the decline of traditional state-run journalism. A new study finds human hearing is most acute when listening to arguing parents from the top of the stairs, and fireflies almost managed to salvage a local man's day.
This is the Onion News Network.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Are you tired of governments around the world killing innocent people? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin is money that cannot be inflated or controlled by any state. By continuing to use their money, you're perpetuating the killing. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available to you now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. It's Bitcoin.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Call in, talk about whatever's on your mind. It's Mark with you.
Oh, Jay.
And Angie.
I'm sorry. I was watching the video, and I was like, oh, man, that just caught my attention.
Where'd he go?
Yeah, we get our bevy of producers send us all kinds of stuff all the time, and thank you for all that do, but, you know, you got to do a radio show, too.
Discord is a little distracting sometimes when you're here.
Yep, 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE, and, well, call in, talk about whatever's on your mind. We're reading this article from Reason Magazine about the possibility of a Justin Amash run for president as a libertarian or independent, and I think it's very interesting. Speaking of libertarian-type stuff, check out Freedom's Phoenix. It's a liberty-oriented news aggregation site. So if you want the newest and freshest stories and perspective on current events from those who value liberty, freedomsphoenix.com has it. Their daily dispatch is the best way to stay up to date on science, technology, historical findings, liberty news, government overspending, and the rise of the police state. Freedoms with an S, Phoenix.com. And look, if you don't know how to spell Phoenix, neither do I. Every time I try it, I fail. But your search engine does. Because all you have to do is write freedomsphoenix.com. They'll figure it out in the search engine, freedomsphoenix.com. Let's go on here with Nick Gillespie's article from Reason Magazine. Describing Amash, he's young, 39 years old, charismatic, and articulate. I think that the age is strikingly important. We had a couple of oldsters running for president this last go-around, but one of the reasons people liked Obama was he was young. They want somebody who's fresh, old enough to be, reasonable in the head, but
that's also the reason they liked Clinton, because he was, I think he was like one of the first youngest presidents, right?
I think so too. Yeah, I think he was like the youngest since JFK. And I agree. Amash isn't presented as somebody by anybody. Nobody says, well, that guy's crazy. They don't tend to look at him that way. He's pretty even-keeled, and he can present these ideas in a charismatic fashion. Every bit as much as a younger characteristic such as South Bend, Indiana Mayor Pete Buttigieg, a married gay veteran, and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, a Latina Democrat socialist, he represents a new generation of outspoken idealists who are bringing new identities to national politics. And that is, to me, when Biden was the front runner seems like it was just yesterday, probably 2 weeks ago, Biden was the front runner before, maybe he'll make it. I don't know. I'm not making predictions.
He does. He is going to be the best guy to troll, because I'm going to go bring my pony. I got a little Shetland pony that was at the wedding. You guys might remember her. Yep. Little unicorn. She's all white. And when Biden comes over and tries to pet my pony when I'm at the Vermin Supreme gatherings, Vermin's gonna be like, "Don't you dare pet my pony. She's only 8 years old. You leave her alone." I know. Get your grubby, slimy hands off that pony.
That's going to be great.
We talked about it at Pork Fest. We're going to have fun with this, and I hope Biden's at least at these things and comes over and checks the pony out.
Right, and Biden brings nothing new to the table. Nothing new at all to the table. He is old Democrat politics, and I mean, if they bring that guy up, I think that's just a death knell for them, in my opinion. Not that I think that's a bad thing, but he's yucky, and they do away with their very best cudgel against Trump. So Trump's got audio out there of talking about touching women where the sun don't shine and all kinds of things like that, and you just don't touch there unless you ask first, and
then you get permission.
Yeah, you got to get permission. Well, yes, you have to ask and get permission. That's how this order of operation works. And look, obviously, he's by no means easy for the Christians to swallow, because he's so much about the guy's distasteful. So with Biden, the Democratic Party gives up all that great fertile ground. Now, I guess Warren or Kamala Harris or whatever, these are the new ones that we're supposed to look at. I keep an eye on it. I find the horse race as interesting as anybody, but I don't think we can pick anybody at this moment that's going to come out on top. But I do think that Amash does have new ideas. And if the Democrats don't come up with somebody who seems new, whether they are or not, seems new, then they don't have a leg to stand on, because Trump knows how to beat him up. He knows how to win, and it's going to be hard to beat him. Amash is the child of Syrian and Palestinian parents, had no idea. An Orthodox Christian and unabashedly libertarian. Even if you believe, wrongly in my opinion, that libertarians make up at most 4% of the vote. That's ridiculous. Because maybe it's Libertarian Party or people that understand the term libertarian or can tolerate the term libertarian, but people that are fiscally conservative and socially liberal, those people, that's a large percentage of the U.S. population. The winner in 2020 is going to need every vote he or she can scrounge. For a better estimate of the proper size of the libertarian electorate, read this. So he's got a link to another one of his articles. Amash's presence will change how all that sorts out. And so Nick Gillespie's saying that if Amash runs, it's going to put a lot of pressure on the two candidates that are going to be obviously Trump. It's going to put on Trump and whoever the Democratic nominee is. And yeah, I think it will. I think that Trump is going to have to pay attention to whatever it is that he thinks Amash stands for. Whether he likes it or not, he's going to have to pay attention to it, because Trump has managed to sort of straddle the line amongst all the people that might vote Republican or at least be scared away from voting Democrat. And until he gets some pressure, like from Amash, he doesn't have to perform like a libertarian.
Well, another thing that Trump's had going for him last time around is he wasn't running against the most evil witch, the wicked witch of, the United States, Hillary, who is just, hated by anybody that really looks into her.
Right. Well, you could like or dislike Hillary or have voted against or voted for Hillary. That doesn't really matter. But you can't give up the notion that she is what's probably the most disliked woman in America.
For sure.
And of all these other Democrats over there, there's a lot of Democrats that I've talked to that they just don't like Hillary. They just don't like the Clintons. And then there's some who they wouldn't care if it was Adolf Hitler himself running. They're giving him the vote.
Right. They've actually said, I've seen Facebook posts that basically say as much, that, it doesn't matter if it's Joseph Stalin, doesn't matter if it's the gulags for the Republicans, doesn't matter. I'm voting for whomever the Democrats put up because I cannot stand Trump. And
I got one
said as much
relative
many times.
That is like that. He says, yep, you could reincarnate a 38-year-old Hitler right now, and if he got the Democratic nomination, I would be voting for him, and I would have his signs all over my house. Is just what I was told.
Right. That's, and there are people out there that believe that. And obviously, if Hitler were to run, somebody analogous to Hitler were to run, they're not going to say, to the gas chambers with the Jews. They're going to start out with something really palatable, a chicken in every pot.
It's for the kids.
855-450-3733. Your thoughts on Justin Amash run? What will it do? What'll happen? 855-450 free, as in Free Talk Live.
And not to mention the shedding, I would vacuum the carpet 3 times a week. Frodo was scratching all night long, bouncing on the side of the bed, keeping me awake the whole entire night from all the scratching and chewing. It kind of makes you neurotic.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy?
Mounds and mounds of fur all over the place.
Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
If you want the dog to be healthy, you got to feed it something healthy.
Dinovite is nutrition.
The omega-3 fatty acids.
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa.
Our vitamins and enzymes replace the nutrients cooked out of most commercial dog foods.
He gobbles it up. He's not up all night scratching. His shedding is minimal, and it is such a pleasure to have my calm, relaxed, non-shedding puppy back. And I have to thank Dinovite for that.
Don't let your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy.
Come to Dinovite for help.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000. DINOVITE.com.
Would you like to hang out with Penn Jillette? He's keynoting Freedom Fest this year. I, for one, am thrilled. Freedom Fest is the largest liberty-oriented gathering in the world. They take a Big Ten approach with libertarians, conservatives, liberals, anarchists, and just open-minded people mingling together to hear real debates, share real solutions, and converse freely. This year's theme is the Wild West, a time of liberty and opportunity, or a time of anarchy and violence. Maybe both. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and get your tickets now. freedomfest.com/FTL. Not convinced yet? Hey, I understand. It's a high-end event, even with coupon code FTLEB. Sure, you're likely to receive investment advice that'll make that sum seem paltry, but I have something special for you. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and you'll get the 5 best speeches from last year for free. Call it a test drive. Do yourself a favor and go to freedomfest.com/FTL. freedomfest.com/FTL. Use coupon code FTLEB for a discount.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadati.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, and you are free to call in and talk live on the airwaves here tonight. It's Mark with you.
Jay.
And Angie.
855-450-3733. We've been through the gamut of things this evening. Angie brought in an article on eating a plant-based diet. I brought in an article on whether Justin Amash is going to run as a libertarian or independent. All these things are very interesting, and you can comment on that or, well, anything else. That's what we do here on Free Talk Live. The number's 855-450-3733. And Jay, you brought in something.
Yes, this is from Zero Hedge by Tyler Durden.
Durden, yes. So every article, I believe, at Zero Hedge is by Tyler Durden. Tyler Durden is the main character from Fight Club.
Oh, okay. And this is June 26th, 2019.
So this is written anonymously, basically.
Okay.
And Zero Hedge is by no means an unbiased source, but I read it every day because I find it they uncover things that you aren't uncovering elsewhere, and they source everything.
Yeah, I found this scrolling through freedomsphoenix.com, actually, because I get those emails, and I read that one
The Daily Dispatch. Get it at freedomsphoenix.com. Before you go on, I want to tell business owners how they can take cryptocurrencies at their business. If you operate a retail business, and maybe you go to people's houses, maybe you got a storefront, whatever it is that you do, you probably should try taking cryptocurrency. Why? Because there's a loyal group of people out there that you're currently not servicing. And once you do, you're likely to be the only one in your area that does service them. So, do you want a whole new customer base that you didn't even know about? Well, they can help you get it at helpmetakebitcoin.com. Anypay.global is a great site, and they're going to help you with your point-of-sale cryptocurrency acceptance and make it easy for you. There's no paperwork or approval process to open an account. If you already have a tablet at your cash register that you can carry around with you, or even just a cell phone. If say you're a plumber, well, all you have to do is have your smartphone. You pull off your gloves, pull out the smartphone, let them pay with cryptocurrency, and once you do, I think they'll recommend you to their friends too. It's helpmetakebitcoin.com. Helpmetakebitcoin.com.
I actually use Bitcoin Cash to buy a seltzer, a 99-cent bottle of seltzer from All in One Market today, and the guy said, "Yeah,
and where's that at?"
That's in Henniker,
New Hampshire, the only one in the world.
Yep. And he says,
"That's what they say on their sign, by the way, when you drive in, like population 17, the Henniker, the only one in the world,
the only Henniker on Earth."
Yeah, that's what they say. Yeah. You see it every day.
Yeah, I do.
I don't see anything. I go by it maybe once every month or something.
And anyways, so I walk in there, and a guy says to me, he goes,
"By the way, view people that name their towns, I don't know, Salem, Oregon, Salem, New Hampshire, Salem, whatever. Good Lord, can't you come up with something? They did it at Henniker. Just it's another name. You have a mom, name it after her. Somebody in town's got a mom, name it after them. I mean, obviously we can't have two Sallys, but, how about a Sally, an Edith, a Hazel, an Angie? Good Lord, these are important people in the world. They gave birth to you. Name the town after them. Don't name it after some other town.
So he says most of the people going all in one market, they know them. They're all locals, people who drive by there every day. And he says, yep. He goes, some strangers been showing up with cryptocurrency, he told me.
Yep.
People, faces he's never seen before. And
where have they been coming from, Jay?
Well, they've...
Mostly from you.
They're either friends of mine
Yep.
or they've... some of them say... They don't all say that Jay told me to come here, but I do tell people to come there. But just randomly, people have been showing up, and so the word's kind of. But I talk about it on Facebook. I talk about it in the Telegram chats and stuff.
And HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com has a map where it can help people. But once you have that one evangelical cryptocurrency user that can come to your business, then they're going to help spread the word too. And that's what's happened here. This guy at the what's the market called?
All-in-one market.
The all-in-one market. He doesn't care whether it's coming from HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com or Jay Noon or why people are coming in. They're buying things, and that's a great thing for a small business.
And they also, being businessmen and watching financial cycles, understand crypto, and they understand the value of it. But getting into the article here. The headline is Merrill Lynch caught criminally manipulating precious metals markets thousands of times over 6 years.
And so this article is not exactly new, but it's not old either. It's about 2 weeks old, tops.
Well, yeah, it's about 2 weeks old. And, this is just another thing in the news that's, I think...
Well, it's not in the news, though. Well, the thing is that, here it is 2 weeks gone, and I had not heard a thing about Merrill Lynch caught criminally manipulating precious metals markets thousands of times over 6 years. I hadn't heard that because it's not interesting. It's not part of the news cycle. It's not some billionaire that is getting young gals to do untoward things with him at his house. This is Jeffrey Epstein.
Angela, I had no idea what you were talking about.
Terribly sorry. It's not like you're plugged into the news cycle either.
No.
You like your news and nutrition oriented. And it's just not, it doesn't have the sizzle, but this is really important.
Well, this is the kind of stuff I kind of look for because I'm into it, and and this is what I tell my friends every day about this kind of stuff. So the article goes on to remember when it was pure tinfoil hat conspiracy theory to accuse one or more banks of aggressively, compulsively, and systematically manipulating the precious metals, i.e. gold and silver market.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that, when I first heard this stuff, whatever. They're manipulating the gold and silver market. Sure, that's what everybody says.
We do. After all, we made the claim over and over. Well, to demonstrating clearly how said manipulations was taking place, often in real time. Well, it's always good to be proven correct, even if it's years after the fact. On Tuesday...
And that's the thing that libertarians really have a difficult time with, is that, we say things are happening, and you don't have...
Proof.
Like proof, like hard, solid news proof.
Or simple to understand, simple to digest proof. You can have proof you want. How can you prove to me that Bitcoin is secure? How do I know that it's, not going to be hacked? And, I have this debate with people all the time, and that's really hard to prove to somebody that doesn't have the concept of blockchain technology and what nodes are and things like that. It's not a simple conversation.
Yeah, but you can't explain that simply to someone like myself. I have no idea, and I've heard it a couple of times, but I can't follow it. So you can't explain it to someone new and expect them to understand.
Right. I mean, to some extent, when it comes to certain technologies like Bitcoin, you just have to give up and say, yeah, I believe that because an expert told me.
I trust the geeks.
And we
That's what
do,
I like to say.
We do this all the time in our lives. I actually saw
we do it every time we get in a car. We trust that the wheels are going to stay on the car. They're not going to fall off.
Well, and we've also driven in the car before too.
Right.
So
this is why people need to use cryptocurrency and exercise it.
Yeah, and they need to get a little bit and try it out and see how it works and all that sort of thing before they get a whole bunch. And you can be hacked. It's just that Bitcoin itself can't be destroyed through hacking. So, for instance, if somebody got some kind of screen reader or whatever on your phone, and you put $10 worth of Bitcoin on there, then it's possible for them to get it.
Keyboard loggers, or they fish you for your passwords or whatever. So, anyways, back to the article. On Tuesday after the close, the CFTC, and I forget what the acronym is for. Consumer
something.
Oh,
okay.
Well, the CFTC announced that Merrill Lynch Commodities, MLCI, a global commodities trading business, agreed to pay $25 million to resolve the government's investigation into a multi-year scheme.
$25 million, that's nothing for Merrill.
Yeah, they made probably 10 times that doing this.
A multi-year scheme. The government spent more than $25 million investigating this over the course of many years.
Right. This is what happens. Government's a protectionism racket for these people.
Yep.
A multi-year scheme by MLCI, Merrill Lynch.
That's Merrill Lynch, yeah.
Precious metals traders to mislead the markets for precious metals futures contracts traded on a COMEX commodity exchange.
Right.
The announcement was made by Assistant Attorney
General Brian Bajowski, or whatever his name is. Yeah, I mean, and here it is. We've been saying it for a long time, and they're announcing it, and it's not even news.
Yeah.
855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control over your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank account, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problems now by calling the experts at Tax Mediation Services and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. Tax Mediation Services is accredited by the Better Business Bureau. Call now for a free case review and a price protection guaranteed quote.
Call Tax Mediation Services now at 800-301-5435. That's 800-301-5435. 800-301-5435.
Tahibo Tea Club's original pure Pau d'Arco Super Tea comes from the only tree in the world that fungus doesn't grow on. So it naturally has antifungal, antiviral, antibacterial, anti-infection, anti-inflammation, and anti-parasite properties. But maybe more importantly, Tahibo Tea Club's original pure Pau d'Arco Super Tea builds corpuscles in the blood which carry oxygen to our organs and cells. Our organs and cells need oxygen to regenerate themselves. The immune system needs oxygen to develop, and cancer happens to die in oxygen. The tea is great for healthy people, and it can truly be miraculous for someone fighting a potentially life-threatening disease due to an infection, diabetes, or cancer. Tahibo Tea Club's original pure Pau d'Arco Super Tea is only $34.95 plus shipping. Order now at shopsupertea.com or call 818-984-6100. That's shopsupertea.com or call 818-984-6100. Shopsupertea.com.
A congressman recently revealed that legislation totaling 2,900 pages and involving more than $1 trillion was available to members of Congress for less than 48 hours to study and consider. That's over 60 pages of legislation per hour. Do you think anyone read the entire bill? I'm Jim Babka with DownsizeDC.org. Consider a proposal buried in a 3,200-page, $388 billion bill, which would have empowered committee chairmen or their agents to examine Americans' tax returns. When this horrible provision came to light, no one claimed to know how it got into the bill. One congressman questioned said, "I didn't write it, I didn't approve it, I wasn't even consulted." If your attorney represented you this way, he might be disbarred. But this is how Congress represents you every day. That's why DownsizeDC.org has created the Read the Bills Act. You can force Congress to read their bills before they pass them at DownsizeDC.org.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live. You are free to call in and talk live on the airwave here. Airwaves, or just one airwave, I don't know. I don't know how I can work that out for you, but I'll try. The number, 855-450-3733. It's Mark with you.
Jay.
And Angie.
It's 855-450 free is in Free Talk Live. We're reading this article here from Zero Hedge, which I'm always careful when I read their articles because they definitely take a certain view on the issues. But man, oh man, I never have proven them wrong. I mean, they cite their sources, and they do good reporting over there. And in this case, they're talking about, something we've been talking about here on Free Talk Live for years, but not all the time.
I call it counterfeiting gold and silver in a form of the paper markets.
Yeah.
And I don't believe they even use that terminology in a Zero Hedge article, but I've when you look at some of these charts get pointed out where gold drops significantly in 6 minutes, and there's these orders to sell X amount of tons of gold, like sell 6 metric tons of gold, and then 3 minutes later sell 12 metric tons of gold, and then a few minutes later sell 7 metric tons of gold. Well, and it's all being sold through the COMEX exchange. And
that's a lot of metric tons of gold. Is anyone ever going to take delivery of that?
And what they do is actually, they mentioned in this article somewhere, they cancel the delivery basically right after the buy goes through. They cancel the delivery. So, and there was one of these guys was explaining on a YouTube video and showing these charts. I forget who it is, but I'm kind of into studying this stuff. And he talks about how they sell like 27 metric tons of gold out of the COMEX exchange in like 6 minutes on these whatever high frequency trading platforms. I don't know what they are.
Right. Where are they keeping this 27 metric tons of gold?
Well, the COMEX exchange only in their audit only says at that particular time there was something like 4 metric tons, 8 metric tons.
Right.
Like they're selling they've gotten busted so many times.
Yep, they just keep on doing it.
They just get away with it.
And nobody's trying to stop them. And then Merrill Lynch gets this little fine here of $25 million. I mean, Merrill Lynch isn't going to stop manipulating commodities markets over a $25 million fine. That's chump change. That's not even a fraction of, well, it is a fraction. It's a small amount compared to what they're making doing it.
Absolutely. And the thing is, like, when you understand Bitcoin and people understand what their private keys are, the private keys, if you hold them in a wallet, it means you actually hold the Bitcoin. But if your Bitcoin's on an exchange like Coinbase, you don't hold the private keys. And actually, Coinbase can stop you from taking your Bitcoin if they feel like it. People lost money in Mt. Gox. I know I have a good friend that lost 12 Bitcoin in Mt. Gox. I mean, that's enough to buy a house with right now. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But
we tried to warn people about Mt. Gox here on the air on Free Talk Live. I said it over and over again for people to get out of there because it was clearly a mess. But not everybody listens to Free Talk Live every single episode.
And my friend that actually had that 12 Bitcoin in Mt. Gox when it crashed, when it went defunct, and he didn't even know about it until I was like, dude, you hear Mt. Gox went under or something? He's like, what are you talking about? So he's trying to go get his Bitcoin out of there. And he heard about Bitcoin from Free Talk Live. Back in 2010 or something. And the thing is, getting back to the private keys is essentially in the gold and paper markets, we don't hold the private keys. Nobody holds the private keys to gold and paper.
Well, you
Gold
hold the
and
private
silver,
keys to gold if you have the gold.
if you have it in your vault, which
Right.
which almost nobody does, and which is all the trading in gold and silver is not guys like me and you swapping gold and silver or whatever, or people just doing it physically. Nobody's taking physical delivery. Very few people are in the United States anymore.
Right, when they're doing the commodities exchange, comics, they're likely not wanting to take delivery. I mean, what are you going to do if somebody, with a metric ton of gold, even if you had enough money to buy a metric ton of gold, what are you going to do with a metric ton?
Store it.
And so they're like, I don't want to take that. Well, the companies that deal with the commodities exchange, they know that. So they're just selling the same gold over and over again to a bunch of different people.
And they're happy to pay the fines.
Yep.
Because they make so much money on gold
the
and
fine's
silver.
just a tax on them doing business. It's
Cost
not
of
even
business.
a fraction. Well, it is a fraction. I keep saying it's not a fraction. It is a fraction of what they're doing, but I mean, it's just a tax, basically.
So if there's any callers, people are going to start yelling at their phone right now and call into the show if you know the answer to this. So January 3rd is becoming a special day for Bitcoiners. And the idea is if you have Bitcoin on an exchange, everybody brings all their Bitcoin home on January 3rd to keep the exchanges honest. If you went and everybody demanded physical delivery of all the gold and silver that they have in paper on the same day, it couldn't happen.
Right. They'd suddenly get honest real fast.
So in my John Birch Society reading as a youngster, I read about a guy named Ishmael Mayer Rothschild.
Okay.
And in the year of kings, queens, and lords, he decided he would hold people's gold and silver on deposit and give them certificates. And this was like a little cartoon I read as a kid. And what he would do is he looked like the Monopoly man in the cartoon.
Oh, yeah.
And so what he would do is, you'd see the happy guy was so happy giving his bag of gold bullion and having some pieces of paper because they were easy to deal with.
Well, yeah. I mean, and there's no doubt that banking is a service. I mean, Angie, why do you put your money in the bank?
Because it's easy to get to.
It's right. It's easy to write a check.
Use my
easy,
card.
Right. Those kind of things. Banking's a service. There's no doubt. And we've gotten used to not having to pay anything for banking services, writing checks and free checks and free debit cards and free all those things.
You're the product.
That's the
like
reason.
Facebook.
Is because they've got a sort of tricked hook, line, and sinker into this whole thing, whereas back when you would put your gold into this Rothschild's vault you're talking about here, you should pay that guy for taking care of your gold, and probably did. But what he found out and figured out at some point was, people put their gold in here and then they exchange these receipts for gold with
Warehouse
each other.
Receipts. That's all dollars are.
Yep.
Right. So if I have, I don't know how to articulate it otherwise, Angie, but if I have, say, $10 worth of gold in my bank and I want to buy, 2 chickens and some eggs from you, and I give you the $10 receipt, that's money. And then you take it and you have the chickens and eggs and you're like, well, I don't need any gold right now, but I do need some milk and some yarn.
So I take it to Jay.
And you take it to Jay, and then Jay takes the $10, and then Jay gives me some metal work gets some metal work from me, and then it just goes on in a circle, and this is how these things started. And the gold dealer or the gold vault guy, he's like,
He observed
I don't have
this.
to have this stuff.
He observed it, so he started creating notes that had no gold behind it. And then, and in a little story, it was like, well, people started to distrust Mr. Rothschild, and when they came back, there was no gold in the vault, and basically no Rothschild. He couldn't be found, Mr. Rothschild. He run off to everybody's gold, and there was a little village crisis or whatever, a financial thing.
Yeah.
But getting back to the article, as Merrill Lynch itself admitted, beginning in 2008 and continuing through 2014, precious metals traders employed by Merrill Lynch schemed to deceive other market participants by injecting materially false and misleading information into the precious metals futures market.
And these scandals come out. I mean, I don't know if I'd call this a scandal because nobody even knows it happened. This is news from 2 weeks ago. Did you hear about it, ladies and gentlemen?
I had no idea.
Right. Of course not. Because it's not being pushed. This is as important as the LIBOR scandal. And we just, Like, our banking system is a series of lies.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and I can understand why people don't try hard to save money, because saving money just means that people are going to take it from you. They're going to rip you off. That's what this whole thing is about, is moving hands from financially responsible people into the hands of rapacious thieves.
I think Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, market cap of cryptocurrency is really going to skyrocket when a lot of the first world starts getting hit with negative interest rates on bank accounts. They're talking about it like
it's crazy. Really close. They're talking about lowering the rate again in July. Yep. I don't understand. It's so crazy.
What do you mean by negative interest rates?
So basically, when you put money into your bank account, you'll have a negative interest rate to where every month you're going to lose money. But like if you have a loan and you're one of the friends of those guys who make the loan decisions, you'll basically have a negative interest rate loan, which is actually happened by the European Central Bank and
it happened by Japan very recently.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Yeah. And what this means is that money gets very loose. So would you, taking out a loan for $100,000, Angie, and every month you pay back just like any other loan, right, but in total you actually pay back less than you borrowed.
But you and I will never get access to those loans.
No, that's what that's how that works for the banks. But the banks loan have
credit card companies get
lower rates. So what it does is it injects more cash into the marketplace and just creates it out of nowhere.
And this is how they want to fund universal basic income.
Oh yeah, every other great government program that they're trotting out here. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE, as in Free Talk Live.
Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat grinder. Or maybe you recall that feeling you get when you go to the mailbox and see one or more letters from the IRS. You get a sense of impending doom, don't you? So let me ask you, if you could learn how to use the law to beat the IRS, traffic tickets, almost any courtroom scenario, collectors, credit card debt, and even mortgage debt because of fraud perpetrated against you, would that be worth knowing about? Don't laugh. Investigate. Check out the life-changing benefits of the Lighthouse Law Club at their website, lighthouselaw.club. That's lighthouselaw.club. And while you're at it, visit the Lighthouse Law Club YouTube channel. You might be in for a pleasant surprise.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,397, silver at $15.10, and Bitcoin is trading around $12,436. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. in the news. A recently published U.S. Internal Revenue Service slide describes alarming recommendations on how tax agents should deal with digital currency users who are not paying taxes. The slide recommends that agents question crypto users' friends and family, comb through social media posts, and issue subpoenas to make sure United States residents are paying taxes on their cryptocurrencies. Activist Post reports the slide follows the IRS's recently announcing tax guidelines on cryptocurrencies, which will contain rules about the tax treatment of digital assets and forks. Even though the new tax guidelines have not been issued to the public, IRS agents who enforce the tax laws have had no problems prosecuting Bitcoin users for tax evasion. The recently published slide gives a lot of detail on how agents should combat crypto tax evaders by using a variety of investigation methods. Within the 181-page document, there are thorough descriptions of what a cryptocurrency is and chronicled paragraphs on assets like Ripple and Bitcoin. The report discusses a myriad of digital currencies, and the descriptive study even calls certain hardware wallet users fanboys. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. A trove of public records obtained by privacy experts at Georgetown Law revealed that ICE and the FBI have used facial recognition technology to mine state driver's license databases for information on millions of Americans without consent, a practice that critics condemned as a disturbing breach of civil liberties. Activist Post reports that privacy advocates and immigrant rights groups reacted with alarm to the documents, the release of which comes as members of Congress are increasingly raising concerns about the threat that facial recognition technology poses to civil liberties. The FBI and ICE have carried out facial recognition searches in 3 states that allow undocumented immigrants to obtain full driver's licenses. They are Utah, Vermont, and Washington. After a long dormant stretch, the Privacy and Civil Liberties Oversight Board has signaled it's ready to tackle another big review of government surveillance and overreach. The PCLOB, an independent agency in the executive branch, last published a 2014 report on warrantless surveillance of the Internet by the U.S. intelligence community. While EFF welcomes the PCLOB's efforts to bring oversight and transparency to the most controversial surveillance programs, they have disagreed with some of the board's findings, especially on surveillance under FISA Section 702. While it's a good sign that the board is turning its attention to other major issues, Activist Post reports that its mixed history means it may be a little too soon to get hopes up. This week, the board, which was created after a recommendation from the 9/11 Commission to look into the violation of civil liberties, released a strategic plan that does not shy away from investigating some of the biggest threats to privacy in the U.S. According to the document, they will be looking into the NSA's collection of phone records, facial recognition, and other biometric technologies being used in airport security. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
The chimpanzee spends most of its day in the jungle, carelessly swinging from tree to tree and picking mites off itself, instead of building shelter and teaching itself how to read. This chimp is named Bolo, and researchers at Duke University have shown that he can solve 3-dimensional logic puzzles, an impressive feat indeed, until you learn that human children as young as 3 are also able to solve the puzzle. Even a mentally handicapped human is capable of verbal speech, something no chimpanzee has ever been able to accomplish, despite working vocal cords capable of howling in irritation after soiling itself. Chimps have been observed using tools, but their tools are little more than sticks. Even driving and preparing pancakes tasks we leave to the stupidest, least educated humans, lay beyond the capabilities of the chimp.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live. Coming to you live. If it's between 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. Eastern Time, well, we're live here on Free Talk Live. The chances are very, very good. Now, we do some traveling now and then. Now, we've done a live show every day for going on a decade now. But that, in some cases it's recorded if we happen to be traveling. But the vast majority of the time, we're here in the studio, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Call in, talk about whatever's on your mind. It's Mark with you.
Jay.
And Angie.
The number is 855-450-3733. Let's go right to the calls, Jay. Before we get back to your article on gold manipulation and Merrill Lynch paying some ridiculously small fine, we've got Jet calling in from the United States, listening on YouTube. Jet, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hello, how you doing?
Hey, Jet, what's on your mind?
I have to call in once a month, and kind of work you through a certain exercise, if you will. You know that list you have on the wall?
Yes, it says don't say government. Say people or goons or mafia, gang, idiots, lunatics, devils, thieves, killers, liars. Go ahead.
Well, keep adding to that list, like tyrants, despots, psychos, all that good stuff. Keep
Parasites.
adding to it as we go on. Parasites, yeah, good one. See, this is what I've been trying to convince Mark is this is a way to nullify governments by turning them into just people. People who have the only way they've gotten into their position is by what's referred to as usurpation, which is simply taking over a position or taking the right. In other words, the logic is since we don't have the right to do what they do, we can't delegate to them or use them as our representatives to do the things that they do. So that's the thing. So I wanted to ask.
But that's what they tell us. Is they tell us that that we've given them the rights.
But what they don't tell us is that their governments aren't actually operating. These are municipal corporations that call themselves governmental agencies. It says that you read a City of Keene city charter. There is not one place in the Keene city charter where it says Keene, the city of Keene, is a government. But what it does say is that they are a governmental agency calling themselves a municipal corporation. And what is very important is the language structure, the sentence structure, the grammar structure, the suffix al on the end of a word means similar to or like. And it's really that simple.
I don't even want you guys to think of the terms of anything in the global sense, the universal sense. I want you to think of them as people. I want you to refer to them as people because this is the way that all governments have been removed throughout history. Is when the individuals, the group of people, the populace, begin to think of these people as just other people who have no right to do anything they do, that's when it changes. So if you would eliminate that word government as being a noun and use it as an adjective, it's nothing more than simply adding the word people, the government people, or government this, government that.
Yep.
But to use the term government by itself just won't do it psychologically. You understand what I'm saying there?
Yes. I think that's it's even better prescription for what it is that we've got here. Maybe it's time for me to put up a new sign so that it's even more clear. But I think you're right. Just say government people. And then as opposed to the government, because people think of the government as this sort of monolithic, abstract, scary thing. And in fact, what it is just a group of people who have found out that, hey, people think we're important and what we do is important. So and in some cases, they provide services that are important. There's no doubt that, fire protection is important. But does it need to be provided by the state? Because I don't think it does.
And they've built themselves huge, monumental, ornate buildings. They've taken your money and built to themselves these halls of Valhalla so that you will think that they were near to gods.
And they've got it set up so where these building contractors, in order to be eligible for these government contracts, have to jump through all these hoops and all this red tape that it literally only leaves a very, small amount of the actual able-bodied contractors that could do this work. It's just a small fraction of the ones that are available that are eligible, and because it's such a small pool now that they have to, bid from, or that can bid, they can pretty much ask their price. They can pretty much name their price, and they have to name their price because in order to maintain on that list, you have to kick back. I mean, there was a reason that
is government people, government humans, government people, government humans. Just practice, and thanks very much.
Hey, thanks for the call, Jet. Appreciate it. Yeah, Jet calls in pretty regularly to remind us of these things, and I've got to say, I don't know why my mind has not wrapped around it, but it has not, and I think it's good advice.
I just refer to them as parasites. I call them parasites right to their face. I was talking about the parasitic people in government to a guy who was actually a Massachusetts Westfield, Mass. code enforcement officer, and this was at a get-together last summer down in Massachusetts. One of my friends at a party that he invited me to when I went to, and he thought it was pretty amusing, and he said that he couldn't disagree, and he really liked that I could call what he does parasitic work with such a good vibe, and so that's what he was impressed with.
The thing about it, in the case of the zoning guys and stuff like that, they really are. Now, people will say, without these zoning rules, all our houses would be crap or whatever. But would they? I mean, it's not like the zoning...
I want my house to be safe.
Yeah.
I'm very particular. I'm rebuilding a house right now, and I'm very particular about it. And I'm doing things like better than like what's required by code. And I've had contractor friends who's like, wow, you're putting more effort into this than you need, for example, and you only need...
Sure, they don't build houses for themselves.
Right. And code only requires this. And this is, well, I want this. I don't want to be doing this again in 30 or 40 years is what my answer is.
Yeah, but I mean, does the zoning board offer a guarantee? If you buy a house and it was built in relatively recently, do they offer a guarantee if for some reason something breaks? Or
Nope.
No, of course not, because they're not responsible. Now, if there was actually somebody out there that gave a rating to a company for building, then and the government stands in the way of this. They make it more difficult for these companies to operate because they already offer this sort of low-level guarantee, which is, well, it was built to code.
Yeah,
we have a code.
It was built by a guy that has a special piece of paper that has the stamp of the state on it. And what's that worth? You're going to go after the state because they certify, if somebody drives like an idiot and wrecks your car, can you go after the state because they gave him a license, even though he obviously doesn't know how to, drive?
Yeah, it's pretty clear that they're not responsible for their actions. What government means is a group of people who are not responsible for their actions.
That's a great definition.
I mean, because the government has these, government people have claimed for themselves these sovereign immunity or limited immunity or a whole variety of these immunities that they have for their actions. They use the terminology. It's not like I can sue the zoning board guy, the guy who came by and signed off on the piece of paper. I have to sue the town of X.
Well, here's the problem. So the government of Keene, New Hampshire has this government immunity, this sovereign immunity, but the municipal corporation calling itself a governmental agency, which is actually just a charity, does not have diplomatic immunity. Doesn't have sovereign immunity. They can be held liable, and the people working for this charitable organization can also. So we got to make sure we sue, the correct entities. And this is kind of something I learned the hard way when I sued the town of Palmer. And in federal court,
they took your house from you.
Yes, over property taxes, and I sued them over it. And in federal court, they said, "Oh yeah, they have immunity; they can do this," basically. But I sued. I wasn't super clear that this is a charity, and I didn't have all the evidence gathered up. Now I'm working on a whole nother tax deal to where I am slowly gathering up all this evidence that they are a charity, that they are not a government, and that they don't even have any evidence that subjects me to their so-called code.
I am interested to see how that works out, but I also want to hear how Merrill Lynch is manipulating the metals market. 855-450-3733. Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE as in Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help. Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite. Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops, get the 3rd bottle free. New improved Lico Chops with omega-6, omega-3, vitamin E, and now 6 extra direct-fed microbials. Even better for the digestive tract and immune system. And dogs love it. Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free. This is Henry Lukasevic for Dynavite.
DINOVITE.com.
You love Bitcoin. It's the future, right? Well, no, not if everyone stops using it. I mean, think about it. How many places in your town take Bitcoin? 1? None? Let's be real. If this Bitcoin thing is ever going to happen, it's going to need your help. The good news is, the guys at AnyPay have your back. We built a website called HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com, and it's a place you can send any business, and they'll be set up to take Bitcoin in 5 minutes. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today. Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat grinder. Or maybe you recall that feeling you get when you go to the mailbox and see one or more letters from the IRS. You get a sense of impending doom, don't you? So let me ask you, if you could learn how to use the law to beat the IRS, traffic tickets, almost any courtroom scenario, collectors, credit card debt, and even mortgage debt because of fraud perpetrated against you, would that be worth knowing about? Don't laugh. Investigate. Check out the life-changing benefits of the Lighthouse Law Club at their website, lighthouselaw.club. That's lighthouselaw.club. And while you're at it, visit the Lighthouse Law Club YouTube channel. You might be in for a pleasant surprise.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Call in, talk about whatever's on your mind. The number's 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. free here on Free Talk Live. It's Mark with you.
Jay.
And Angie.
So, Free Talk Live has recently teamed up with another marketing company. And the reason is because this new product that they have is something unlike I have ever seen in my 25 years in the marketing business. I was so impressed with it that I just had to be involved. And if my listeners who have businesses want to reach more people or reach people in a way that they've never reached them before, I want you to go to 123.freetalklive.com. I believe that this is probably going to be the best return on investment for ad dollars that I've ever seen, especially when it's new and less costly. And what it is basically if sometimes you take pictures and people go to Walgreens or CVS or whatever to get photographs. Sure, why don't they? What if you could have those photographs just delivered to your door? What if you had an app that took your pictures and say, oh, yeah, I like this one, this one, this one. You can pick 40 pictures and have them shipped to you. Would you do that for free? Of course you would.
I'm going to actually do that. I just went onto their website. I'm sending it to my wife.
123.freetalklive.com?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not sure whether there's a link to the app there for people that would want to actually get the pictures, but this is for the businesses to advertise at 123.freetalklive.com. And how it works is, well, yeah, of course people want free pictures sent to them. Well, what if they had an ad attached to those pictures through a little perforation that they could tear off and their picture looked perfectly fine after that? But, I mean, nothing's for free, right? So this is basically direct mail where you can almost guarantee somebody's going to open up. What do you do when you get a direct mail piece? Chances are good if you know it's a direct mail piece, something trying to advertise to you, you toss it before you ever open it.
Yep.
Yep, right into the recycling. Or, into the burn pile or whatever your life is like. Well, and one can understand why people do that. But if they ordered the pictures themselves, of course they're going to open it. And then your ad is sitting right there in their hand. And photo ready, gorgeous ad right in their hand. You know that's going to be a nice turnover. The number 123.freetalklive.com. It's because it's easy as 123 doing this. 123.freetalklive.com.
The website is pretty friendly on my mobile browser, so that's cool. Some of them just don't even work, but this one here looks nice.
Yeah, that's our website, I think, that we set up as an interface. But I'm glad it did work. Let's go to Toby calling in from Georgia. Toby, you're on Free Talk Live. Tobias.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Is this Toby?
Yes, sir, it is.
What's on your mind, Toby?
How are you?
All's well?
I got in on the last of your conversation about Bitcoin.
Uh-huh.
I am very interested in buying Bitcoin.
Okay.
But I don't know where to go or what to do.
All right. Go to Bitcoin.com. At Bitcoin.com, you can purchase Bitcoin in a variety of ways, including with a credit card right there. And they have other options for you once you research the site and that sort of thing. But if you just go to straight Bitcoin.com, they'll have a menu there where it says buy Bitcoin, and that's probably the easiest way for you to do it. They have a wallet that you can download, and then you can use the wallet to buy Bitcoin right there, and I believe you can use a credit card to do that, or you can go through their local.bitcoin.com to buy it from somebody. But if you're kind of a neophyte to it, then I might recommend just using their web wallet and buying with a credit card.
So, Toby, I do a lot of work here in New Hampshire, and I offer a heavy discount, 25% discount essentially for my services. I do like property management and snow plowing and welding, and I do a bunch of things. I pretty much want to just work for people who love liberty and are into liberty. And so for Bitcoin, if you pay me in Bitcoin, I use 25% off I'll give you versus cash. And I tell people to go to Bitcoin.com. It's right on the back of my website. And they say, okay. And not once has anybody ever called me and said, I don't get this, I don't understand it.
Yep.
And I've never done it myself, but at least 12 people, I think is the number in the past, this year, 2019, have actually gone to Bitcoin.com because it was worth it to save 25%, whatever it was I was doing for them. And basically what I get from them is a text message, hey, send me your Bitcoin Cash address, And I send them the Bitcoin Cash address, and 3 or 4 minutes later, you know, I pick up my phone and I just received the Bitcoin Cash for whatever the job was.
Right here, if you go to bitcoin.com, across the top menu thing, it says Get Started. And that's the best thing to do, Toby. And thank you for the call, because I know a lot of people have been wondering this, and I probably should have been saying it every time I talk about bitcoin.com.
What were you talking about? You want to hold it yourself and not...
Correct.
Right.
I got it in the last part of the conversation. That's why.
That's important. And if you go to bitcoin.com, they're a site that's going to make sure that you are holding your own keys. There are other sites out there, keys being the private keys. These are a series of letters and numbers that you don't really need to worry about. But they're going to make sure that you're set up properly, as opposed to other websites that'll let you buy Bitcoin, but then they hold it for you like a bank holds your cash.
Okay.
And but nobody offers interest. So there's no reason to have a bank hold your Bitcoin. You know, the best way to have your Bitcoin is to have it in your own wallet. And if you go to bitcoin.com, the wallet that they're going to have there for you, and it's a great starter wallet, is going to have you hold your own keys, because the guy who set it up, Roger Ver, he heard about Bitcoin on Free Talk Live, and he understands cryptocurrency, and he's very clear that you need to hold your own money.
Yeah, and there's other wallets you can use too, but the Bitcoin.com wallet is one I always recommend because it's easy. Like, if you try to send Bitcoin Cash to a Bitcoin Core address, it won't let you. It will actually tell you,
it'll stop you,
that you can't do that. So when Bitcoin Cash first came on the market and people were sending Bitcoin Cash, I accidentally sent someone a Bitcoin Core address once, and I lost I don't know if I lost it. But it's gone somewhere or something. I'm not sure what happened to it, and I haven't gone through the steps to revitalize that wallet to get that, which I allegedly can get that Bitcoin Cash out of there. But that mistake just can't happen with a Bitcoin.com wallet, so it is very user-friendly in that aspect.
There are certainly other wallets.
Then I won't lose my coins, right?
That's correct. It's secure.
Okay.
Now, the one thing that could happen potentially is that you could have a phone that has some kind of malware on it or something. So what I do is, with the currencies that I want to keep in more secure, I have some that I carry around on my regular phone so that I can buy a hamburger or a soda pop or something like that. But for the ones that I want to keep more secure, I take an old cell phone that I have, that I've done a hard reset on, and you can find out how to do that on the internet relatively recently. And then I download all the stuff new that I need. So basically the Bitcoin wallet. And that way I'm sure, much more sure that it's secure.
And it's a good idea that cell phone doesn't have a SIM card in it. So it's not hooked up or not like on a cellular service. You just use it through Wi-Fi, so you can't get SIM hacked.
Toby, thank you for the call. And call us if you need more help.
Thank you.
855-450-3733. Doing Bitcoin help here on Free Talk Live.
That's great.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. Local.bitcoin.com.
Are you concerned that the values that made America great are no longer taught in schools? Well, I am, so I got my son the Tuttle Twins children's book series.
My name is Jack, and I'm 11, and I just finished the Tuttle Twins series. It taught me about liberty, free market economics, and entrepreneurship.
Give all the young people in your life a chance at reason and clear thought, because they're not going to get it at school. There are 9 books in the series, and each one teaches a set of ideas that children aren't getting elsewhere. Go to TuttleTwins.com and use coupon code FTL to get 40% off. That's TuttleTwins.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
Did you know you can legally exit the U.S. federal income tax system? Well, it's true, and thousands of American nationals are doing it. The 16th Amendment and the Internal Revenue Code are legal, but only in a limited jurisdiction. This is the basis behind the voluntary nature of the income tax. Learn the exit strategy provided by Congress. Find out more by visiting weissparis.com and watch our numerous videos. That's WEISS Paris.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
Free Talk Live. Call in. Talk about whatever's on your mind. That's what we do here on Free Talk Live. We take your calls about whatever is important to you. It's Mark here with you.
Jay.
And Angie.
And that's another thing is that I like to, I see all these people. I've pretty much given up on Facebook and social media, but Facebook mostly. That's where I was. Not that I don't have an account. I do. But I mostly just try to keep myself from posting on it because by and large, there's nothing positive going on there for me. But I see people all the time posting something or other on the internet. And for instance, I have to make posts for Free Talk Live's page because, well, you know, we got a page with 90,000 likes on it and got to keep it curated and all that stuff. And I don't know, maybe at some point I'll just give it up on it entirely. But today I'm not going to. And by the way, our advertisers want us to mention them on our Facebook page because they know that Facebook's an effective advertising medium. And so more or less I have to keep it going. And that's fine. I don't mind, making the posts here and there. But then, as a result of the posts, I see people posting on my post, right? And, I made some comment about, I posted an article about Tulsi Gabbard being called an isolationist by NPR. Isolationist? Some lady who doesn't want to blow up people in foreign countries isn't an isolationist.
Well, that's what they did to Ron Paul.
It is what they did to Ron Paul. They're taking this term just because Pat Buchanan is probably an isolationist. This is somebody who wants the economy to be insular in the United States, to not buy things from other foreign countries as much as we can, and to not sell things as much as you. I suppose they really don't care if you sell them or not. Like, what does an isolationist care if businesses in the United States sell outside the United States?
Well, they do care because that causes inflation when all those U.S. dollars start coming back at us.
Well, maybe they do. But either way, I wouldn't think they would, but maybe I'm wrong. So, but your military isn't the way you do business. The military is just the way you create enemies.
If you have a banking cartel, that's what you use to make sure that your money is used as a unit of exchange. Use the military.
Yep.
You use its sanctions.
And Tulsi Gabbard was quoted here as the last couple of days as saying basically World War II was the only war in U.S. history that's justified. And I posted on there, the Pacific theater of World War II wouldn't have happened had it not been for the FDR administration attempting to get basically orchestrating is what the term I use, orchestrating the war with Japan. And all you have to do is read the McCullough memo. Just go right now. Google the McCullough memo.
And also another fact of the Pearl Harbor attack is what you're talking about.
Yep.
Is that U.S. Standard Oil, who was owned by was a Henry David Rockefeller, I believe, or his son. I'm not sure, but it was started by Henry David Rockefeller. Literally fueled the Japanese fleet so they could go do this attack. And this was something that came out, in the 90s. As I first heard about it on, Alex Jones, and he was quoting some stuff that got declassified during the Clinton administration. But the same thing with the Nazis, Rockefeller was a financer of the Nazis. And so was George Bush's grandfather.
This is what these international financiers do: is they play both sides against the middle, and they win.
Because they hold the debt of both sides,
right?
So they hold the debt of the losing side and the winning side. They don't care.
And I also pointed out that the European theater of World War II wouldn't have happened had it not been for the United States intervention in World War I. And some guy didn't like that I said it. Now, he didn't present any facts or anything, but just started tossing out name calling or whatever. And I said, tell you what, call in. Well, he's not going to do that. He'll take the time that it takes to write a couple of mean missives on Facebook, but pick up the phone and talk about something of importance on a nationally syndicated radio program.
It is funny how these keyboard warriors, they get so aggressive behind the keyboard, and then I didn't even think about the thing with the phone call, but there's a guy who's a angry keyboard warrior, and I saw him at PorkFest last year, and I started teasing him about something he was flipping out on, about Ian about. And I was actually making him a hamburger, and he would not talk about it. He just kept on smiling, kind of giggling a little bit like Angie is over here. And he's almost blushing a little bit. And he just was standing down. And I said, you want to talk about it on Facebook afterwards? And because I know you love to talk there. But yeah, there are people who will go crazy on the internet, but they won't even make a phone call.
Yeah, it's amazing to me. I mean, if something's important to you, you can post to a couple of dozen people on Facebook. By the way, one of the reasons that I'm not as interested in Facebook as I used to be is Free Talk Live we had as many as 19 million post views 1 week on Facebook. That's a lot of post views. Lot. Now we're getting per post 500, 1,000 on a good post views. That means...
Well, the algorithm's squeezing you out.
Well, the algorithm is about getting paid for Facebook now.
Oh, okay.
It used to be we were building their business, building their currency as a social media.
I've noticed that in the marketplace. Now they're like, oh, boost your listing. I'm putting stuff on Facebook Marketplace, which is like an alternative to Craigslist, which has actually worked quite well for me in the past few months. And then I got things that are on Marketplace, and they have 5 views in 3 weeks, to where other things that I've put on 2 months ago had 800-900 views in 3 or 4 days.
Right. So what they do is they build their platform by basically giving you the free advertising, like Craigslist did, right? Like lots of people use Craigslist, and the reason is because it's a free way to advertise effectively in your community. Why wouldn't you use it? Well, Facebook understands the same problem, so they get people to to use their marketplace by essentially giving away views, because they're selling views.
Oh, yeah.
And then when they've got a sufficient number of people wanting to use their platform, that's when they start charging. And all they need is a few bucks from you.
And so I did boost one particular item.
Right.
Because I have hundreds of these things that I bought really cheap. And just people came out of the woodwork. The thing went to like 900 views in like 3 hours. And a couple days later.
How much did you throw at it?
I think it was $5.
Yeah.
That's pretty cheap.
I mean, for just, one of these things I'm selling, it's totally worth it. Yep. In fact, I pretty much sold out of them now.
Yeah.
And these steel I-beams.
For $5.
Pallets of them. Yeah.
You had pallets of steel I-beams.
Right.
Go on with the Merrill Lynch story. Sorry for
basically recap this
eating up your time here.
Merrill Lynch caught criminally manipulating precious metals market thousands of times over 6 years, and they've basically admitted that their employees were participating in this by injecting materially false, misleading information into the precious metals market. It goes on. Article goes on. They did so in the now traditional market manipulation way by placing fraudulent orders for precious metals futures contracts that at the time the traders placed orders, they intended to cancel before execution. In doing so, the traders intended to spoof or manipulate the market by creating the false impression of increased supply or demand, and in turn to fraudulently induce other market participants to buy and to sell futures contracts at quantities, prices, and times they otherwise likely would not have done.
So they created FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. They just put in false information, lies into the marketplace, and that's it. This is one thing that markets are susceptible to, is markets are truth as far as value goes at that moment. When you insert lies into the scenario, then it's not truth anymore.
If we, the people, participate in Proof of Keys Day, which is every January 3rd, and we take home our Bitcoin from the exchanges, if everybody removes their Bitcoin from the exchanges, this is how we will keep Bitcoin honest. This is how we will keep
You could
the
do it with
exchanges
gold,
honest.
too, though. You could take delivery of the gold or silver that you buy on these COMEX exchanges.
But what's happening here is when Merrill Lynch is selling the gold, they cancel the orders, so you can't even do it. You can't even trust them because
You got to find the right time to buy.
There's no
don't
gold,
buy high.
There's no gold blockchain. That's the problem. We
Well,
can't audit gold.
You can have it.
You can have it, but you can't audit it.
855-450-3733. 855-450-FREE here on Free Talk Live.
Do the letters IRS give you anxiety? I'm Dan Pilla. I've defended people from the IRS for more than 40 years. My book, How to Get Tax Amnesty, created the tax resolution industry and is responsible for helping hundreds of thousands of people. It can help you too. If you're a non-filer or facing IRS enforcement right now, your case is unique. You need real help, not cookie-cutter advice. My clients get my personal attention. Buy my book at danpilla.com and get a free consultation directly with me. That's danpilla.com. Let's start solving your tax problem right now.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business. So make sure that they create a positive impression with Reputation Defender. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with Reputation Defender. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with Reputation Defender. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
You can't win if you don't enter, and you actually can improve your chances of winning a prize drawing if you wrinkle up your entry blank. I'm Holland Cook from survivalspeech.com, and I speak from experience. Why this works: if they'll be spinning the drum before drawing, your entry blank will move around more than, and not adhere to, other perfectly flat entry blanks. And if they don't spin the drum and merely reach into a box full of other perfectly flat entry blanks, many of which are sticking together, yours will feel different to the person reaching in. When you win, act surprised. And if you're looking for work, this is a metaphor. For more tips on sticking out in a world where just too much blends into the blah, 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 hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Did you know that Free Aid is a mutual aid, educational, and networking organization? At Free Aid, we support volunteers who provide first aid. We do outreach to the public about health and safety, and we bring together medically skilled freedom lovers. Free Aid is made possible by your generous support. Donors can receive great gifts like first aid kits, t-shirts, silver dime cards, and hoodies. The Free Aid Silver Dime Card Project is sponsored in part by Roberts & Roberts Brokerage, Freedom's Phoenix, and Don't Tread on Meme. Visit fr33aid.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
Final segment of Free Talk Live. Call in. Well, we might be able to get you in if you call in. The number's 855-450-3733. It's Mark with you.
Jay.
And Angie.
I want to tell you about Freedom Fest. Freedom Fest. We are going to Freedom Fest, Free Talk Live, and we are going to be hanging out with all kinds of important sounding folks. Penn Jillette, Candace Owen, John Mackey, Stephen Moore, Grover Norquist. How about Justin Amash, John Stossel, Glenn Beck, Herman Cain, Senator Mike Lee, Kevin Sorbo. Looking forward to seeing Kevin Sorbo, actually. Thomas Massey. All kinds of big names at Freedom Fest. It's at Paris in Las Vegas, July the 17th through the 20th. So that's just around the corner, folks. You can still go to freedomfest.com/FTL. That's freedomfest.com/FTL and get your tickets, but it's coming up next week. I'm excited to be there. And excited to see all these folks. You can see the best speeches from last year if you go to freedomfest.com/FTL, and you can come hang out with us. Judge Napolitano is among those speeches there. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL. Use coupon code FTL50. Save $50 off your ticket because we want you to come out and hang out with us. freedomfest.com/FTL. Jay?
Back to the article here. Of course, since we're talking about a bank, and since banks are in charge of not only the DOJ, Department of Justice, and virtually every other branch of government, not to mention the Fed, as in the Federal Reserve, nobody will go to jail. And Merrill Lynch entered into a non-prosecution agreement and agreed to pay a combined measly $25 million in a criminal fine.
Yeah, Merrill Lynch paying $25 million is nothing.
Under the terms of the NPA, I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
Is probably this agreement that we talked about up here.
Non-prosecution order?
The non-prosecution order.
Right,
Merrill Lynch
yeah.
and its parent company, Bank of America, had to agree to cooperate with the government's ongoing investigation of individuals and to report to the department evidence or spoofing provisions of the Commodity and Exchange Acts in Bank of America's, BAC's global markets.
Commodities, business, and this is just a whole bunch of gobbledygook. It's their function to conduct wholesale principal trading and sales of commodities. Laughably, Merrill Lynch and Bank of America here also agreed to enhance their existing compliance program and internal controls where necessary and appropriate to ensure that they're designed to detect and deter, among other things, manipulative conduct in BAC's global markets commodities business.
Translation: it will be much more difficult to catch them manipulating the markets next time.
Right. So basically the government put a little tax on them for ripping people off, and now has made it harder for them to get caught doing the same trick again. Let's go to the phones. Got David calling in from New Mexico. David, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yeah, Kevin Sorbo, big-time fish person.
What's a fish person?
The band.
Oh.
Right.
Fish person. No, not no P's involved. FISH.
So he's a fisherman?
Fish person. You know, the people that drive the vehicles with the secret symbol on the back of their car, the fish people.
Jesus fish.
Yeah.
Okay. I had no idea.
So be careful.
Well,
could be dangerous.
Well, I think he'll be fine.
I see him all the time.
I'm just messing with you.
Yeah.
Well, I had wanted to talk about the Zorro Ranch and Mark saying that he invites young girls over to his house to pet his dog. But,
hey, it was out in the street.
But yeah. Tell save it for the jury.
Yeah,
Mark.
save it for the jury. Sure.
We'll talk about. Yeah. We'll talk about that another night. But since Jet brought up something that was on my list, I wanted to comment on that. And I think I understood what Jet is saying, and it's been on my list for a long time. And
there was a caller previously who called in this evening who basically said, don't say the term government because it's big and scary. Use the term government people, and that then breaks the spell.
Yeah, and I want to go a level deeper, and I think this is what he was saying, but I don't want to speak for him, so next time he calls in, he can clarify if he wants to if I'm onto it or not. But the way I view it, and I think what he may have been somewhat saying is what I'm thinking. That is that the government is illegal at this point. They're completely outside of the law, which makes them illegitimate. And so when I encounter a cop or a DMV, MVD worker or anybody else, you know, basically, like Jay, you say to their face, they're a parasite. I tell them that you still have the power to damage me, but you don't have the authority. Your boss has broken the law, and they are no longer legitimate. That makes you not legitimate. So you just go ahead and do whatever you can get away with. But just remember, what you're doing is illegal, and it's illegitimate, and we will get rid of you as soon as we can. Until then, go ahead. Exercise your unlawful power, sir.
Don't never tell them. Never give them permission to exercise their unlawful power. But
well,
yeah,
the way
that is said pretty good.
The way that I said it is mocking enough that it's obvious that what I'm saying doesn't mean what it's saying in a pragmatic manner. It's loaded language, meaning implies what I'm saying to mean the opposite.
Yeah, you're being sarcastic.
And I think, yeah, what he is saying and what I agree with is that, or what I think he's saying, and why I agree with, and what I would urge people to do is every time you encounter a government worker, tell them exactly that. We want you guys out. You have no legitimate power. Quit your job. Get the hell out of here. Yes, you still have the abusive power to be able to not follow my directive. But at some point, you won't have that power anymore, and it might be dangerous for you. So I would urge you to please quit your government job while you can.
Now, David, what you have to say is actually excellent. It's excellent advice. I believe that we need to tell these parasites. We need to explain to them what's going on, and what they're doing, to people. But
how do they benefit from it, though?
To kill them with kindness, not to get angry at them, not to not to be like an a-hole in their face, because that just. If you get angry with them and riled up with them, you're just an a-hole now, and nothing else really matters. But if you can literally kill them with kindness, well, not literally kill them, but kill them with kindness, and be pleasant and polite, which is something I believe I've gotten really, really good at, because I have engaged heavily with the adversary, and many of them have been like, they just couldn't believe that I just remained so calm, cool, and collected with them, and they appreciate that. And I used to get angry, And
yeah, it's hard not to.
You just don't get any results that way.
Even better idea then. You get several million people killing them with kindness, and I'll get several million people killing them with anger. And between the two factions, maybe we can do something about them.
So let me ask you guys, what's the benefit to the government bureaucrat for quitting now? I mean, if I'm sitting here in some government job, fat and happy, and everything's going okay in my life, and I've got a job that I don't have to...
Let me answer. You're getting to the end of your program, so let me answer your question since I know what you're asking. There are already millions of young people that will not become a cop. And the cops know this, and they won't become a cop because they don't want to be hated like we hate you.
Well, there was an article we had last week that I didn't get to, and it's still sitting in my show prep, that, in fact, recruitment numbers are down for police. But, I mean...
Damn right they're down.
I think the only thing to do to solve that for towns is at some point they're just going to have to raise the rates. I mean...
And that's what they're doing. I saw a thing, New York State Troopers decided this winter, and they were like, starting pay was like $74,000, full benefits. It was in a truck stop in New York, and I was like, holy crap.
Yeah, $75,000. If you're talking about living in some crap hole upstate New York place where nobody else can get a job, and then you get a $75,000 job, you are Mr. Moneybags in that town.
And they're having a tough time recruiting.
So, yeah, I agree with that. Raise the pay so that the caliber of person interested in the job goes up, so that the higher the caliber of the person, the less likely that you'll have people that want to abuse other people. Because when you pay better money, you get better people. But the bottom line is, like I said, I want to reiterate, it's already working, because there are millions of young people that absolutely will not go into law enforcement because they don't want the rest of us to hate them, because we do hate you.
David, I appreciate the call.
So let me add to that real quick. So I'm working on drafting up a letter to give to the tax collector, and I'm going to call it my notice of extortion. Maybe I won't call it that, but I want to have a clear, precise, polite letter basically explaining that the private sector cannot retire because the private sector is forced to pay for the retirements of the public sector.
Yeah, I mean, that's ultimately what it is that we all have to work so that the government can continue to function. That's how they see it anyway.
The tax collector is enslaving me, and I would like her to understand that.
freetalklive.com.
Bitcoin.
Free Talk Live.
When you speak of the federal government, I can tell you a few things about it because I survived 34 years of it before I retired 2 years ago.
Ew,
and
sorry to hear about that.
my sanity.
Congratulations.
Who did you work for?
I worked for the Department of Defense. It's a criminal enterprise from top to bottom. There was unethical behavior going on there. There were people doing criminal things. I mean, outright larceny, graft. I could just go on.
Yeah, and that's just your bureaucracy. It's the same way everywhere else in every other government department.
And I tell you, this is a microcosm. If it's that way where I was, you know the entire federal government's that way from the very top to the very bottom.
When we talk to former police officers, they've told us that usually...
I did that too for about 7 years out there.
They've told us that in their experience, usually the worst rise up through the ranks. Would you say that's accurate from your experience?
Absolutely.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
The latest episode of Declare Your Independence with Ernest Hancock is next after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,419, silver at $15.25, and Bitcoin is trading around $12,095. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, a container ship owned by J.P. Morgan has been seized by U.S. Customs and Border Protection in Philadelphia, weeks after authorities discovered over $1 billion worth of cocaine on the vessel.